It's midnight on the Eastern Time Zone. It's 1 p.m. in Japan, which means it's time for the Midnight Matinee here on the Pacific League English YouTube channel. Hello, friends and neighbors. Gabe Lerman in the virtual booth, along with new member of the Pacific League English team, Matt Seivert. Matt, how are you doing this evening?
Oh, I tell you what, I am very excited to be here for the very first time contributing in the virtual booth rather than just in the chat like I have the last two. It's a beautiful night, and this is about to be a wonderful baseball game, I hope.
Overcast skies in Sendai in Tohoku, the region. Here at Rakuten Mobile Park, Miyagi for our game. There you see the starting pitcher, Masaru Fuji. Yeah, we've been away for a couple of months. We know. We couldn't find the right timing to connect for a stream in June, unfortunately. But, hey, we're back. We got this stream and one more on the schedule. Sosuke Genda stepping in against Masaru Fuji. Fastball over for strike one. And we're underway. Now, Matt, I know you did some research and you've heard about the human highlight reel. What do you know about Sosuke Genda's batting prowess?
I know that Sosuke Genda is one of the... Oh, that was almost fair.
That was almost fair.
Sorry, interrupted. Sosuke Genda is probably the best hitter, like pure hitter they have on this team, which isn't saying much, but he's a really, really good bat. He's a great all-around player, everyday type player, and that's why you see him in against a lefty, which he should hypothetically have a disadvantage against.
31-year-old in his 8th season with the Lions, signed a free agent extension to stick around. Batting 246, 293, 06. He's the only Lion in the batting race at the moment. At least qualified. 0-2 on the way. Low from Fuji. We're going to be seeing an interesting pitch mix from Fuji, the left-handed starter here for the Rakuten Eagles. Fastball, slider, his primary two pitches, but he'll mix in a sinker and changeup every once in a while. There you see those two sliders, one in, one off. That sliced foul and into the mesh behind home plate. Normally you expect guys in Japan to have at least 3 pitches, maybe 4 that they lean on heavily. Fuji's really the first we've seen in a while that has 2 and a couple others he keeps in his back pocket. 1-2 on the way to Genda. Low again with the slider. 2-2.
I was going to say, yeah, it looked like I love they have the graphic coming up that shows you he's got 6 different pitches. I also really like the way they display it with all the different shapes and colors for those of you. It makes it easier to follow along at home. But I'm going to wonder how far does he go into the game without throwing his changeup for the first time?
Called strike 3 at the bottom of the zone. Fastball catching it at 149. That is a reverse K to start the game. Masaru Fuji, not exactly known as a strikeout pitcher, gets Genda. Caught him fooling.
Well, you can bet Genda wasn't expecting that pitch. I mean, he'd been going low so much that this time it got more of the zone, and Genda was just frozen because he was looking for something else probably.
Next batter up, the center fielder, Manaya Nishikawa. If you may remember him from other clips here on the highlight or on the YouTube channel, he crushed a home run so hard at Tokyo Dome, it wound up in the outfield second deck for his only home run of the season. Like, that's Shohei Ohtani territory.
That's also really getting into a ball. I wish I had seen that highlight because I imagine getting up there is something that very few hitters manage.
Fuji, 1-1 on the way. Sent foul. You see again, Fuji leaning on the fastball slider combo.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, they're probably not too different in speed, and one has way more break to it. So if you get them expecting a fastball and then you dart it away, it kind of messes the hitters up as far as what they're looking for.
I have to admit, I chuckled when I spotted on Fuji's Japanese Wikipedia page, they straight up say he has issues with his control. Like, honesty. Principle there. I love it.
Well, and again, when you have a bunch of breaking pitches and off-speed pitches, and Fuji obviously has a large arsenal, it's really helpful to use those to get all parts of the zone. And if you miss a bunch more pitches, then that happens. Think of comparison to Blake Snell, who, of course, won the National League Cy Young Award last year.
That's true. Full count pitch on the way. That's going into the expensive seats down there. Coming up is a Shuto, a gyro ball now. Admittedly, Fuji's stats don't really mention that much. Maybe he's trying his sinker out and it's showing up as a little bit of a reverse split. Full count pitch on the way. Chop towards shortstop, Murabayashi. Throw on to first in time. 2 down. The one thing to watch for with Fuji is that pitch count of his. The deepest he's gone in games is only 7 1/3 innings. That was earlier this season. Last season, he was a reliever. Very good one, but a reliever nonetheless.
I feel like the Pacific League has seen a lot of that this season in particular. I don't know if it's necessarily new. I'm sure it happens every season, but it feels like this year we've got more notable ones.
Daiju Nomura, recently acquired by the Lions from the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. Stepping in. The batting average is a little low, but small sample size, 2 in 21. Think of it that way. There's a changeup from Fuji. Misses outside. 1-1 on the way. Murabayashi. Whoa, high throw, but Franco gets the tag to end the inning. Wild throw. Michael Franco, normally a third baseman, able to make the play at first up the line. It's Ogo, Nakashima, Tatsumi getting things started for the men in maroon in the bottom half. Get stuck in, folks. We're here for a good time. All right, we got a question from East Bay 66, watching us from Modesto, California. Any updates on Masahiro Tanaka? Tanaka did get a contract extension for this season, but if memory serves, he's still dealing with shoulder issues that have kept him out of game action. It is unfortunate because he plays such an outsized role in this Rakuten Eagles franchise's history. As I say every single time I bring up Masahiro Tanaka, that video of him coming out to get the save in Game 7 of the 2013 Japan Series always puts the hair on the back of my neck standing up.
Well, and of course, obviously, a legend able to return to his original franchise is not something to be scoffed at either. The Eagles are a new team, and he was instrumental in getting them a title. Went over to the Yankees and had a great many years there. But obviously, at the end of it all, he wanted to come back to where it all began, and I'm sure the fans love having him back in the clubhouse, around the team. You just hope that he starts feeling up to throwing his usual caliber, and we'll see probably next season more so, but it's going to be great to see him back on NPB mound for sure.
This is true. Speaking of NPB mounds and the men on them, Chihiro Sumida on the bump for the Saitama Seibu Lions, the road team in this game. Unexpectedly, this is his third appearance in the Midnight Matinee. He was in 2 games last season, one at Balloon Dome on July 2nd, one at Zozo Marine Stadium on October 1st. And here he is in his third appearance. This is only his third season in the Bigs.
And he's already halfway to all the Pacific League stadiums on the Midnight Matinee. How about that?
Alone on the Midnight Matinee, which is impressive. This is a replay from yesterday's game. Yuya Ogo with a loud fly ball to center. Ogo is one of the better batters on the Eagles this season. Really had a breakout last year, putting up double digits in both home runs and stolen bases. 5 long ones to go with 19 stolen bases as the umpire catches that one in the pills.
I think he's hit him at the bottom of the protector, and I'll just hope that that's the outcome instead, because he can hit in the pills don't feel very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of the people in our audience that worry about that may have reflexively crossed their legs.
Interesting stats there you see on screen. Ogo, 4 for 11 with a home run against Sumida so far this season. Sumida across with a breaking ball, 0-2. See that sort of change-up grip there, all the fingers on the baseball.
Definitely not a grip it and rip it pitch the same way that a fastball would be. That one's probably his fastball, but it misses.
Yeah, 147 seems about right. Neither of these guys are going to be lighting up the radar gun in the mid 90s in freedom units or the 150s in metric. That's one thing you have to adjust when you're playing or when you're watching Japanese baseball, metric units.
I also love that Sumida seems to have a splitter in his, he just threw it, a splitter in his arsenal. I don't know how many Japanese pitchers this year have been advertised as that, but it's definitely gaining popularity in the US again for after a long time out.
2-2 on the way. Breaking ball caught by Ogo. Stabbed by Tonosaki before it hits the ground. Hello, future me on the top 10 plays. Shuta Tonosaki has won Golden Gloves at second base before, and you can tell that's why.
Well, I mean, that's basically a third baseman play right there in the middle infield. And both these middle infielders are so good. We know that Genda's the human highlight reel, but let's not overlook Tonosaki, who is also capable of putting out some pretty amazing highlights.
Absolutely. The hyped-up rookie, Daisuke Nakashima, coming into the game. He actually had his first pro RBI a couple days ago against the Marines. A triple of Atsuya Hirohata of the Chibalote Marines. Batting second here because of the hype surrounding him. I mean, those of us who are Eagles fans will think, where's Shimauchi? Down on the farm, that's where. Fastball over for strike 2. When it comes to Sumida's pitch mix, you mentioned the splitter. That's part of a 6-pitch mix. Here he's just getting all fastball diet.
That definitely
Curveball, splitter, cutter, slider also in the mix, but it's that changeup that he threw just there that is his best, and the one he's proudest of. Batting average against of only 157 last season. Nakashima on the ground. Tonosaki across in time. 2 down quickly here for Sumida.
Slightly quicker to at that point than Fuji was, because I noticed that Sumida is attacking the zone a lot more, whereas Fuji is kind of like going around. He's definitely Fuji is definitely the Blake Snell here, but Sumida is just kind of going after these hitters and challenging them to do something.
Well, the way you think of it is when your middle infield is Tonosaki and Genda, you can afford to give up some balls in play because they're not going to turn into hits. They're going to be outs.
Especially if they're on the ground.
Meanwhile, the Eagles' counterpart is at the plate right now. Ryosuke Tatsumi, 3-time Golden Glover in center field. All of those in the last 3 seasons. 0-1 on the way. Change up low, ball 1. And he's a stolen base threat, too. Another guy who can get double digits in home runs or steals. Chopped on the ground. Tonosaki will charge it. Close play, not in time. Umpire calls it out. Tatsumi trying to get the infield single. No dice. Tonosaki
like
making 3 outs.
I don't think they review those calls, but it sure looked to me like he got his foot over the bag before the ball got there.
Eagles manager Toshiaki Imai might want to hold on to his challenges for later. Kishi Yamamura Kuriyama coming up for the Saitama Seibu Lions. Quick going here in the midnight matinee. And Rickety Cricket in the chat asking, is that the same Franco from Philadelphia? Yes, that is. He signed with the Eagles last season, hit 12 home runs in an abbreviated year due to injury. This year, he has the honor of being the first Eagle to hit a walk-off pinch hit home run. As you can see, cloudy day here at Rakuten Mobile Park Miyagi, formerly known as Rakuten Seimei Park Miyagi, formerly known as Kleenex Baseball Stadium, formerly known as Rakuten Kobo Park Miyagi. Basically, whatever Rakuten needs to advertise at the time, that's what the park's named.
Or maybe more correctly, the sponsorship. Obviously, Rakuten in this case is the one sponsor, but I live in a place where there's a stadium that changes naming partners frequently, so you've seen that happen.
It is a beautiful ballpark. If you ever get the chance to go, you'll notice the Ferris wheel hanging out in left. There's a whole little amusement park behind the left field Owendon stands where
And it
the
looks like the
cheering
Ferris
section
wheel
is.
is going. So obviously not terrible weather. Otherwise, they probably would be like, yeah, we shouldn't run that. Of course, if it was that bad weather, they'd probably say the game should be delayed or
Yeah,
heaven
one other
forbid,
game in
canceled.
Japan already nixed. Hiroshima's game against Tokyo has already been put on hold, canceled due to the inclement weather. Here in Sendai, in the north part of the main island of Honshu, not a concern. Another question from Rickety Cricket. Three-way race for the third playoff spot in the PL. Do you think will take the playoff spot? I already made my prediction back on the podcast. I called it Fighters. I'm sticking to it.
Well, you like the Fighters, Gabe. That's not much of a surprise that you're picking that.
Yeah. I also had Oryx finishing second, so Lotte being in second place is a surprise, and I am eating humble pie.
Bias aside, I honestly think it's probably some combination of Lotte and Oryx that are going to get 2-3. If I had my guess, it depends on whether Oryx continues being, I'll say, a little championship series hangover. They seems too early on.
Kishi lifts this to center field. Tatsumi parked under it. One away.
That's the loudest contact we've seen so far in the entire game. That's exciting.
Still looking for the game's first hit here. Tatsumi showing off the golden glove. Golden shades, too. That's a nice look.
Nice touch.
Have you noticed the uniforms yet, Matt?
Well, I noticed that they've got a fun patch on them because this team is new enough that they're just now celebrating their 20th anniversary. They
That
also
is
have
correct.
some fancy designs.
Back-to-back catches
Sorry,
in center field by Tatsumi. 2 down quickly. Fuji being a lot more economical with his pitches. We're going to have to talk about Yamamuta, the batter, there another time because 1 pitch, 1 out.
Sorry, I was going to say, it looks like there's like some stressed camouflage thing going on in the jerseys too. Not sure if there's any like JSDF tie-in with that or if that's just a decision that they made, but that was the thought.
Just a decision they made. Takumi Kuriyama up, owner of over 2,000 hits, all with the Saitama Seibu Lions. This is his 20th season with the club. The 40-year-old spelling Takaya Nakamura at DH today. Sorry, 23rd pro season. My goodness.
That makes me feel very young all of a sudden.
And you'll notice, Matt, there's been a lot of lefties in both lineups.
Yeah.
Managers eschewing the platoon advantage, just going with whoever they feel has the best chances of getting hits here.
Well, and there's something to be said for putting your best 9 out, regardless of like handedness. The other thought that comes to my mind as he fouls that off to the left side. My other thought that comes to my mind is that, you know, sometimes it's about balancing how many at-bats your players are taking. Obviously, we have a fill-in for DH here. It looked like there were a couple of others as I was looking through the lineup that have had fewer games played this season so far. So I wonder if the manager's just trying to get them some action here.
And the aging bet is our first hit of the day. Takumi Kuriyama picking up professional hit number 2,141 with a line drive single to center field.
Interesting note in the chat here from Moro, and presumably the equivalent in Hangul. I'm pretty sure the camo design is the shapes of all 6 prefectures in Tohoku, which is a really nice local nod, if that's true.
Fans will be able to take home some of these jerseys. First 20,000 in attendance here at Rakuten Mobile Park Miyagi get a complimentary one for this special 20th anniversary series. Speaking of Tonosaki, who's made all 3 outs for the Lions so far defensively, he's up at the plate. Tonosaki having a bit of a down year compared to years prior. But the Golden Glover, Best 9, All-Star, you name it, he's got it in his trophy cabinet.
I'm a little bit up in the air as to whether he is currently qualified for the batting title or not. Based on NPB's website going into the game, he has enough plate appearances to qualify. Obviously, he's not performing as well as his shortstop counterpart, Sosa Mikenda, but it seems like he's in the batting title race, but obviously he's not going to win it. So I wasn't sure if you were making that distinction, Gabe, when you brought that up earlier.
No, I was not. Apologies for the slight delay in the full screen. We had a minor technical issue with our Japanese production staff, keeping an eye on us. Just pulling up some extra figures here on Tonosaki. 2-2 count, Fuji on the way. Tonosaki, a Premier 12 champion with the Samurai Japan in 2019. Ooh. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Breaking ball from Fuji ends the bottom of the top of the second.
Yeah, the longer I watch Fuji pitch, the more it feels like Blake Snell is a good comp. I mean, that curveball was filthy.
Asamura, Suzuki, Franco coming up for the Eagles. This is the Pacific League TV English YouTube channel. This is the Midnight Matinee. In addition to what's going on with the jerseys, there's a lot of 20th anniversary activity surrounding the team right now. Let me see. Where the heck did my game notes go? There we are. So, in addition to the free jersey, there's former players showing up as guests in and around the stadium. A special meal set of each costing 2,000 yen, $20 effectively. An exhibition of jerseys through history, a karaage festival, fried chicken festival in the stadium plaza, and the one I am the most jealous of, my homeboy, the mononymous Ginji, is doing a special evening Q&A after the game. I am so jealous.
You'll also be happy that you're asleep, probably. But yes, that's really neat.
Ginji is my homeboy. It's his cheer towel I have, and he just retired last season.
Ah, former players coming back, right?
Yep.
They show a replay of that strikeout. My goodness. Fuji
making it work. I gotta admit, I am curious if the exhibition of jerseys will feature the Tequila Sunrise knockoff Eagles faux back jersey they did from sometime back in 2017. Like Eagle head on the Astros Tequila Sunrise, but in maroon, gold, and yellow.
I didn't know that NPB did throwbacks too. That's really cool. Unsurprising that they've, had jerseys evolve over time.
And I mean, it's not like the Eagles have much of a history to work with, given they're only 20 years old.
Exactly.
But you'll see the Lions bust out their Invincible Cebu era shirts every once in a while. You'll see the Hawks and Buffaloes go back to their old jerseys when they play each other every so often, because both those teams started in Kansai. Sumida getting to work against Hideto Asamura. First pitch swinging, down to Genda. Easy play for the highlight reel. One pitch, one out. I'll have to describe Asamura's trophy cabinet next time. Third baseman Daichi Suzuki, normally the first baseman, scorched a line drive single to score a run in yesterday's game. That was a 5-0 shutout, making Takayuki Kishi, the starter and a former Lion himself, the 5th oldest pitcher in NPB history to throw a complete game shutout. Better yet, he got to 2,500 innings pitched that game.
Oh, he pitched 9.
Changeup in for strikeout.
Yeah, no, Kishi's been doing really good for a long time, and it's great to see that he's still continuing that success. Obviously, Rakuten's happy to have that, veteran presence in the rotation, especially with Masahiro Tanaka out injured.
That's true, and Takahisa Hayakawa being an absolute phenom on the mound so far. Really the bright spot of this Eagles pitching rotation. Although we can't knock Fuji, he is an all-star this year.
True. I was going to say, I remember reading somewhere going into this season that if you combine the pitching staff of the Saitama Seibu Lions and the lineup of the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles, you have a complete team that probably vies for a pennant.
That is true, although I don't think I'd be able to convince the two GMs to
trade. No, absolutely not.
Chopped on the ground, foul by Daichi Suzuki. Count is 1-2. You're seeing all the pitches here from Chihiro Sumida. Curveball, splitter. There's that split finger fastball. Suzuki just able to get a nick of it. Sumida throwing only 18 pitches so far. We mentioned being economical. 1-2 on the way. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Just to complete the strikeout, they have to throw it down, apparently. It's one of those that you can kind of tell the difference in philosophy between different hitters, right? Some hitters are looking for their pitch, and it takes them a while to get there, and they'll fight off things. Especially with a pitcher like Fuji, it might go deeper counts because of that. Whereas Sumida is coming at you, and if hitters are, finding what they look for early, you don't have to get to a deep count to find that pitch and do what you hope to happen with it. But so far, it's gone right at Lions middle infielders.
Daiichi Suzuki, also a big contact hitter. He's known for getting his batting average up towards 300.
Now, this batter not known for being a contact hitter.
Well, known for being a big stick kind of guy. Michael Franco, over 130 130 on the nose, major league home runs. Former Philadelphia Philly from 2014 to 2019, and bounced around with a season each with the Royals, Orioles, and Nationals. 4 home runs on the season. As you hear the Rakuten Owendon, the cheering section in left, get into their foreign batter cheer song. They used the same one for Jabari Blash when I was there in 2019. Tonosaki picks up another defensive out. Another 1-2-3 inning.
Man,
We're
this is
motoring along here.
Hey, I mean, compared to the last 2 midnight matinees, it's a nice change of pace. Also, Sumida has been doing a great job of being on the mound when the Lions are in the middle of a long losing streak and snapping those losing streaks. So he's pitching commensurate to that right now. It just means the Lions need to get some hits.
I do. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Because the Lions have lost the last 7 in a row.
Sure. So the Lions this season, they're currently in a 7-game losing streak, pending the result of this game, of course. That's happened 4 times this season already. That is insane. But Chihiro Sumida has found himself on the mound in that 8th game twice and snapped the streak.
You didn't see me make a wince because I don't have my webcam on, but yeah, that's a wince for sure.
Yeah, that one's probably deserving of a "so desu ne," this line.
I mean, Sumida has definitely done his part. His 3.10 ERA is 11th in the Pacific League with his 6-6 record on the season. Even for these Lions, between him, Natsuki Takeuchi, and Shinnosuke Hada, the Lions have a bright future in the rotation.
Whatever happens to their old stalwarts who are, exciting MLB scouts like Kaima Taira, Kona Takahashi, who's worked at Driveline the last 2 off seasons, etc.
Tatsuya Imai, one of their all-stars this season. Yeah,
he's obviously doing really good too. I mean, he's wasn't he like 3rd in the league in ERA last I looked? Yeah, this Lions rotation is pretty darn deep. If you have all of them hitting their best outcomes in the season, it's a pity their hitters aren't hitting their best outcomes at all.
Speaking of hitters, here's a new acquisition by the Lions, acquired from the Yomiuri Giants earlier this season. Teiya Matsubara, acquired for Gakuto Wakabayashi. Matsubara getting some action here in Sendai.
And I wonder if he was blocked in Yomiuri such that, they're like, okay, we can let him go.
Especially with that deep outfield, no kidding. Fastball over for strike 1, count is even at 1s. Laced to second base, caught on the fly by Kobukata.
Thank you, Moro, for picking up that reference with the Tohoku prefectures outlined in there. You did confirm it, and we appreciate that very much.
Nicely done there by Kobukata. Defensive flexibility is Kobukata's calling card. He's had games at second, at short, at third, in left field. Yuto Koga up now for the Saitama Seibu Lions. Fuji dropping a curveball in there. Interesting pitch choice. gets the job done. You see there, Koga against the Eagles, 13 for 34 with 1 home run. Opposite field, diving play by Kobukata, up throwing to Franco in time.
Well, Koga's not exactly known as a speedster. That's usually the case with the catchers.
Yes, but Kobukata is known as a speedster, and that was a phenomenal play.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's a hello future Gabe on top 10. Maybe not.
I think so.
I mean, he had to dive back behind him, going towards the outfield grass. He was lucky it didn't take a bounce off that lip there, but I mean, he had to angle his body to reach that ball, and that's not an easy play to make. Back to the top of the order now as the human highlight reel steps back to the plate for his second time.
Hikaru Ota trying to steal a strike on that high fastball. Nothing doing, says home plate ump. Sosuke Genda, WBC champion as well. He played most of that series with a broken pinky finger, if memory serves.
Yeah, depending on which pinky it was.
And he had to get bunts down in that shape. But he's going to chase this up the line. It rolls foul.
That looked like a collision waiting to happen, so I'm grateful that it rolled foul and they kind of pulled up.
Terrain, pull up. I also love Sosuke Genda's cheer song. You may be wondering, hey, where's the horns? Aren't there usually horns in the outfield cheering sections? Everywhere except Rakuten Mobile Park Miyagi, because of its proximity to a hospital nearby. Both teams have agreed to ditch the horns. The home team will use a synthesizer every once in a while. But otherwise, one drum is all you get.
Well, and that kind of consideration is definitely consistent with the Japanese, how we feel the Japanese interact with each other. So it's really great to see that they're making the right choice with the hospital there. It does lose out, of course, on some of the excitement, the energy, but I guarantee you that not making things hard on a hospital is a much better choice.
Besides, if you want horns, stick around for next month's Midnight Matinee. We're going up to Escon Field, Hokkaido.
Oof!
The Fighters hosting the Hawks.
And I think they're allowed to use as much horn all the time as they want. Hey, there's a hit.
Yep, Genda gets aboard with a 2-out single. Nice job there for the 6-time Golden Glove winner and triple gold member of the Triple Gold Club. Premier 12, Summer Olympics, and World Baseball Classic. All with Samurai Japan. So when we say he's the human highlight reel, we mean it.
I don't think I've seen a top 20 or a top 10 plays this year that did not have him somehow mentioned, because he's that consistently good on defense. Also, I think I see a familiar face in the chat saying that the Lions got to the 50 loss mark faster than they ever have in history. And yes, that is correct. Thanks for checking out the stream.
Nishikawa popping up. That's going to be Murabayashi finding it against the cloud cover. Fuji keeps the bases clean. Sumida coming up to face 7-8-9 for the Eagles. Kobukata, Murabayashi, and Ota.
We'll see if the no-hitter goes away. Well, no, they...
oh, hey! You really just jinxed it?
Jinxed what? I did just jinx it, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yes,
okay, listen, rookie. There are a few things you don't mention here on the Pacific League Midnight Matinee. Is one of them.
Yeah, fair enough. Although, come to think of it, he's seen 6 up, 6 down, but I don't remember if that was in sequence or maybe I'm thinking.
It is in sequence. Only 1 strikeout so far, but in sequence.
All right. Well, now that I have officially ruined it for Lions fans, I will apologize profusely. But we'll see what Sumida does in this inning.
I do like that there's more giveaways going on here at Rakuten Mobile Park Miyagi. In addition to the jerseys, the first 16,000 fans get gifts from Nivea, who is the game's sponsor. A mini sunscreen bottle, a mini cleansing oil bottle, and a fan with Nivea designs.
I love that they have this like tower seating, and I bet they never get any single batted ball up there. That is ridiculously high. Great vantage point, though.
No kidding. It must be nice to view it from your own little pocket-sized window onto the game.
I mean, it's kind of like it makes me think of like the apartments that are just outside of Wrigley Field, and they've built like bleachers in there. So if you pay the tenant, you can actually go up and see without paying the ballpark prices. That's kind of what it feels like.
I thought all the rooftops got bought by
I think they were bought by I think they were bought by Ricketts.
the Ricketts family,
recently,
yeah.
But
I mean, other examples could be the hotel that's embedded in the Rogers Center in Toronto. I had my bachelor party there earlier this year.
Oh.
Or Tower 11 in Esconfield, Hokkaido. They have an onsen in there.
Oh, now I really want to go into an onsen. It's been a long time.
A hot spring at a baseball park. How do you not love that?
Well, I mean, it's better that they get the actual hot spring because otherwise it'd just be another bathhouse. A really expensive one.
Last season's stolen base champion, Hiroto Kobukata, getting things started here. Chopped up the middle, and what did I tell you, Matt?
You know, rookie
Jimbo
mistake.
said it. Bounced off the mound. There goes the no-hitter. Hiroto Kobukata might be adding to his stolen base total. Oh, goodness. That must be the anime voice actresses who
I was about to say that's obviously supposed to be some kind of anime character.
Yes, the Love Live series is doing a collaboration with the Pacific League. And I think they had a couple of the voice actresses doing the first pitch to the mascots before we started streaming. Koga and Sumida are going to be keeping a very close eye on Hiroto Kobukata. 36 stolen bases last year. Finally got ahead of Ukyo Shuto. This season so far, he's second in the league with 20.
As you see right there. His
Small problem,
behind him,
Shuto
though.
has 30.
Well, and his teammates are right behind him, too. So you look at Ogol having 19. Now, I made a rookie mistake, but let me ask a rookie-ish question. Do they have a limit on disengagements in NPB the same way they do in MLB right now?
No, they do not. A lot of the stuff that's like pace of play things in North America, I honestly don't think will ever fit in Japan, because why would you cut down on the amount of time for cheering?
That is definitely an advantage that Japan has over US, because we don't have these full-fledged cheering sections that write their own songs, that are able to travel to opposing ballparks. Of course, the geography in Japan as a smaller country definitely helps with that. This is
skied. Ganda makes the catch. Murabayashi, no such luck there. Kobukata staying at first, one out here in the bottom of the third.
Can I just point out that number 66 hit a pop fly to the number 6 position player on the board, and that's perfect.
That is true. I'm just gonna throw them up by my horns here, because that's 66 and 6.
Yeah, no, you're good. Separate on purpose.
East Bay 66 chiming in that Kobukata played in the Industrial League before Japan. You are correct on Kobukata, at least. First round selection by the Eagles in 2019 from Osaka Gas. He was actually a dormitory buddy of Hanshin Tigers center fielder Koji Chikamoto. Hikaru Ota up at the plate now. Drafted out of university, he's been the Eagles' primary catcher since Motohiro Shima left in 2020. Known more for his defensive prowess, pop time of 1.9 seconds, for example, and a career 35% runners thrown out rate.
Well, I mean, that's definitely suited for his placement at 9th in the batting order. Similar to Koga, of course, in the Lions case.
Yeah, I know that Japanese managers aren't exactly fond of putting their worst hitter 8th, like you would sometimes see in North America, and treating the 9th spot as a second leadoff man. I tried to do that on my softball team. Ask me how that's going.
How's it going,
There's
Gabe?
a stolen base attempt. Kobukata is in there, safe.
Number 21.
You hear that, Ukyo Shuto? We're catching up to you.
Well, that depends. The Hawks are currently playing the Fighters right now.
That's right. We should do an out-town scoreboard update after this inning. Beautiful jump there by Kobukata. Koga with a good throw.
I mean, that
White
throw was
tag,
placed
just
very
late.
well, but boy howdy.
There you see, though, he has 8 failures, so it's 21 for 29. And now you'll hear the Eagles faithful start to break into a chance song, because this is a scoring chance. Ota could break the deadlock here. 1-1 on the way. Breaking ball sent out of play. Foul. Another thing I adore about Japanese stadiums is the high backstop, all for the ads. Yes, it does mean the fans are removed a little bit from the action, but it also means you don't have to worry about like distracting digital ads or things going all the way around the bottom of the backstop.
Those definitely pepper MLB stadiums. I know exactly what you mean.
There you can see the Nivea ad at the bottom right corner. Bounced in the dirt. Kobukata down at the bottom of your screen, straying off second, gave it a look. Sumida trusting his changeup here. I've been in Japan in July. It's probably humid as heck over there.
Yeah, island countries tend to do that. I lived in Japan many Julys, and woof.
That's why they have a vending machine every 200 meters. Otherwise,
no, that's actually to power the island more than to keep you hydrated.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Beautiful changeup. Hikaru Ota down swinging, 2 down here in the bottom of the third.
Of course, the joke goes, if they didn't have the vending machines, then the entire country's power would run out because they're so frequently, because that way the electricity can keep running everywhere.
Kobukata at second, single and stolen base. Yuya Ogo, the man right behind him on the stolen base leaderboard, stepping up to the plate. 5 home runs, 31 RBIs. Second on the team in RBIs behind Hideto Asamura. And as a leadoff man, that's impressive. Ogo's really been showing off his chops in the top 10 plays of the week. He's gotten some plaudits for his outfield work.
Well, he's got a good chance here to make something happen, although that will not be it. Tonosaki handles it easily. And the threat, a leadoff hit, doesn't change the score this time around.
Still 0-0. We're through 3 innings, and it's not even 45 minutes elapsed. Matt, we may be in bed before, we may be done before your midnight. Never mind.
Well, let's, for my sake, I'll hope so. But, all the same, we'll see how this goes. It's been a pitcher's duel so far, and pitcher's duels are awfully exciting if you like the hurlers on the mound. And 1 rising star and 1 all-star definitely fit the bill. So it's nice to see, and hopefully it keeps up. But also, the exciting part's not always the pitchers dealing. It's the hitters doing their job, finding gaps, creating runs, especially in that NPB way.
Quick out-of-town scoreboard update. It is currently 1-0 Hawks over the Fighters at SCON Field Hokkaido in the top of the third. Runners at second and first right now.
But who's up?
Kawase and Kenta Imamiya. Otaka Yamakawa grounds out to third for the second. Oh, sorry, the count is 2-0. Sorry, that was his last at bat. I'm using Google Chrome Translate here. Okay,
that's okay. I'm looking at Sports Navi and seeing the at bat happen. One of the benefits of being able to read Japanese, I guess.
Yeah, no kidding. I do love that the automatic translator converts SCON Field Hokkaido to Ace Combat F.
Well, I can tell you which one's more popular, but a huge chance here with the league's RBI leader in Hotaka Yamakawa with 2 runners on, and the Hawks already having scored. We'll see if Ito can hold the line. We'll let you know how that goes in our next out-of-town scoreboard update. The other one for you is, well, we can't say because it's not happening for another couple hours.
Yeah, Lotte versus Oryx at 4 a.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Japan time. That one is something I'm going to try and catch on tape delay, perhaps.
That's a much better call.
Question from eSpace66 before we get into the top of the fourth. Any opinions on the fighters dominating the All-Star fan vote?
Good.
Bias aside, it's a home game. They're literally hosting it at Escon Field, of course.
Fuji shows off a changeup high for ball one.
But
and
I mean,
who's your pick for the PL+1? Well, you'll just have to listen to this week's
Yeah.
podcast. I'm
when it
editing
comes
it this weekend.
good. Yeah, I would spoil it, but instead I'll direct you to that when it releases. I made a pick for my mystery +1 on there, and I'm actually pretty sure that that's a good one.
Oh, Mizutani? Yeah, absolutely.
No,
Interleague MVP.
no, I wasn't talking about Mizutani. That wasn't my pick for.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were referring to East Base. My bad.
No, my pick, but Mizutani might be a good pick too. Is if we needed more fighter representation.
Fighter sweep. 1-2 on the way from Fuji. Chop towards second base. Kobukata. Plenty of time. One away. Junichiro Kishi batting cleanup leads the Lions in RBI so far on the season with 20. When we said it's rough, we were kidding.
He almost has more RBI than the team has wins, which is probably why the team has so few wins.
I hate to say I called it in the preseason preview, but the pitching's there, the defense there, who's hitting?
Well, Takea Nakamura leads the team in home runs. He's getting ever closer to 500. That said, his lead, he's only got 7 on the season so far. But Kishi has 5, so who knows? It'd be a good time for one for Lions fans, that's for sure.
I briefly mentioned Interleague with Shun Mizutani. Rockets and Eagles won their first ever Interleague title this year, and Masaru Fuji was a big part, picking up 3 winning decisions during that span.
Dang, won every single game he was out.
Yep. This season, 6-1 with 22 starts and a 2.25 ERA. Last season in the bullpen, 2.29. Chop toward second base again, Kobukata's been busy. With all these lefties in the lineup, another 4-3 putout, 2 down.
Well, and it means that they're doing a pretty good job of getting in front of the ball. Otherwise, they wouldn't be driving it to the right side of the infield, because if they were oh, I'm sorry, I say that. He's a right-hander. He hit it the opposite way. Good for him. But with the lefties, if they're hitting it to second base, it means they're kind of getting ahead of the pitches a little bit, because otherwise you'd think they'd be going the opposite direction if they just kept their weight back more. Yamamura, by the way, we didn't get a chance to talk about his trophy case earlier. If you want to rectify that now before he swings into another out on one pitch.
That was Asamura I was talking about. Yamamura is only 21 years old. 3rd-round draft pick from Tokai University Sagami High School. Had a right hamstring strain earlier this season that cost him 2 months of playtime.
Is it just me, or are their watch-out whistles really, really, sharp here compared to previous midnight matinees?
A little. I do know that Escon Field doesn't have those as often. Fastball way inside. Ball 2. I do like that Yamamura has a bit of sense of humor about himself. Given that he's 1.8 meters tall and weighs 86 kilos, he said, "Because I have a round face, please call me Anpanman."
I get that reference.
Some people have actually called him the left-handed Hayato Sakamoto because of how good he is as a shortstop. But because you got the human highlight reel, he is playing third. Lofts to center field. Tatsumi will play it on a hop. It is a 2-out single for Takayoshi Yamamura.
I just want to point out the little things for aspiring baseball players who probably aren't awake watching this, but if you are, just notice how Tatsumi decided to get down and make sure that ball did not get past him. It's just a simple thing. It's not hard to do. It's not like the runner was advancing, and that way you don't let the ball get through your wickets. If you let the ball get through your wickets, worse things happen. Sorry, former outfielder speaking. I just had to bring that up.
Well, that's quite all right. Takumi Kuriyama mentioned his exploits in NPB so far. 127 home runs. Led the league in hits in 2008. That was, of course, the Japan Series title, the most recent one for the Saitama Seibu Lions. He and one other player, Takeya Nakamura, the only two holdovers from that last championship team.
Well, and of course, both of them are now kind of, I don't want to say relegated, but certainly in the same role. Where
I'd say
definitely
elder
hitting
statesman.
specialists.
Kuriyama is still listed as a left fielder, for what it's worth.
Well, I mean, this isn't quite late career Mike Trout. He's obviously got the elder statesman feel to him, but generally speaking, I bet he's normally the backup to Nakamura. And of course, they're probably playing Nakamura as much as he can stand to try and get more home runs, which obviously should benefit the Lions. Should.
I don't think there's any way you can spin a home run as a bad thing. Ball 2 missed dead over the plate. I think you could call that a bad frame job by Ota. Let's take a look at the overhead cam.
No, that was
Okay.
that was a little inside.
Camera angle trickery then. Unfortunately, we are not at the ballpark as much as I would love to be at Rakuten Mobile
my.
Park Miyagi.
Heck, I'd like to just be at any park. Like, if the powers that be could take a crew, I would sign up so fast that I wouldn't even catch a breath in between times.
I would pack myself into luggage. I'd fly cargo class.
Well, there you go. There you go.
2-1 on the way from Fuji. Kuriyama
Ooh!
fouls it off. It looks like that might have struck his
I was about to
hands.
say it almost looked like he wore that instead of the knob, but I guess the knob got it because he does not move into first base. Replay here. Ooh,
That might have actually hit the barrel. Just
that wasn't as close to his hands as I thought, but it sure looked that way because of perspective.
we mentioned Fuji's pitch count. He's up to 58 now, here with 2 down in the top of the 4th.
Yep, the Blake Snell. When he's on, he's great. When he's nibbling and missing, it takes way too many pitches, and you can get him out of the game earlier.
Bit of a set piece there. And they caught Yamamura in a rundown.
Dear.
Kobukata is going to hand off to Fuji.
Jeez.
And tackled by Fuji.
Hopefully Fuji
Caught
didn't, do
stealing.
anything. Now, that one's kind of like a fringe. Is that really a caught stealing, or is that just a pickoff that worked because he wasn't paying attention? Either way.
That's a good question. I think you could. I'm going to. You know what? I'm keeping score of this in my NPB scorebook. I'm
There
actually
you
going to
go.
scribble it as a tootblan.
Have
you heard of this
aware
acronym?
that. I've heard of it, but I could spell it out for the fans at home just in case they don't know. Thrown out on the bases like a nincompoop.
Yep. And so we're still scoreless here. Fuji faces the minimum despite allowing a single. Kuriyama will get another chance to bat in the top of the 5th. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Nakashima Tatsumi Asamura. I keep talking about the giveaways that they have at Rakuten Mobile Park Miyagi. They are really just like throwing everything at the fans today. Like a set of packed rice from the local agriculture co-op as a giveaway. And the first 15,000 fans get a discount coupon for a gyutan meal, that's beef tongue, and a bag of something called break nuts. I do not know what they are. All I know is that they're getting them as a giveaway.
I think I just crossed my legs in sympathy, but also I'm pretty sure it's just like peanut, walnut, almond type snack mix type things.
Again, I'm going with what the Google Translate is telling me.
Real quick, while we have a moment, I just looked this up again. It was kind of fascinating. You know, there's not much of a way to argue a home run is a bad thing, but normally MLB fans might expect those who out-homer the competition win more frequently. The Eagles have out-homered the competition without winning the last 3 times they've homered in a home game.
I mean, both the Eagles are a losing team at home record. at home as well. 18, 20, and 1 at home. Then again, the Lions are 11 and 29 on the road.
That was a fantastic cut through that ball there. Wow. This Nakashima is a relatively new promotion, as I recall reading somewhere through Sports Navi. I think I read that he was only promoted earlier this month.
That's correct. July 6th. Rickety Cricket and I having some fun in the chat. Sorry.
Oh, dear.
0-2 the count on Nakashima. Sumida winds and deals. Fastball outside. An interesting parallel between Fuji and Sumida is that they both participated in the Asian Baseball Championship. Fuji in the 2019 edition, helping Samurai Japan to a silver medal, as this is lofted into center field by Daisuke Nakashima. Another pro hit, leading off the bottom of the fourth.
I think the stat on Sports Navi talked about he's been in six games. He's got 3 multi-hit appearances already.
Gadzooks.
Talk about a kid who's on the rise and great with contact. I mean, look at that bat to ball skill.
Manager Toshiaki Imae likes this post. And Chihiro Sumida participated in the 2023 Asian Baseball Championship on the gold medal winning team.
Nakashima looks like he's going to run. We can't see it very well because, camera changed places, but
Tatsumi looks at a breaking ball over for strike 1. Tatsumi grounded out to second last time up. I will say to any fans who are going to subscribe to Pacific League TV or watch these games on watchdingo.com, it really helps to learn katakana. So much of Japanese baseball terminology is loanwords. You can pick up a lot. Changeup floated high for ball 1.
For instance, the way they refer to fastball is stureito, which is just the word
curve,
straight.
Splitter, yep.
And
a walk is, yep. Walk is fohaboru, yep. Hit by pitch is a dead ball, dead doboru.
Well, they actually do use kanji for that one. It's kind of fascinating because there's actually a bit of a homonym thing at work, because the kanji for 4, the 4 balls of the walk, and the kanji for dead, as in dead ball, both use the character shi. So shi-kyu.
That's interesting.
So shi-kyu could mean, depending on which version they're using, it could refer to base on balls, or it could refer to
Tatsumi lines this into right field. That'll drop in front of the right fielder. Back-to-back base hits.
Oh,
and the Eagles have something cooking here.
They do have something cooking, but I bet the manager's like, dang it, Nakashima, why didn't you try to take third?
We'll see. I mean, that was very hard hit.
Line
drive by Tatsumi. Matsubata on it quickly, too.
I don't know what Matsubata's arm is like, but it's not worth making the out at third base. So
I remember seeing 2 wins above replacement with the Giants back in 2021.
Matsubata?
So he's accomplished. Yeah.
Well, is that all from his defensive prowess, or is that total, like including his offensive contributions?
I don't think he'd have been traded if he could contribute offensively. Let's put it that way.
This is definitely the hitter you want up right now. Team home run leader Hideto Asamura.
Not only team home run leader, he's known as a bit of a sneaky on base threat too. Former Lion to boot, so he's facing his former club here. 9-time All-Star, 8-time Best 9, including last year. 2-time home run leader. Moved to third base this season to try and free up the middle infield, moving away from his usual second base. DHing today to let Daichi play third.
I was going to say, in this case, they're giving him an off day from being in the field. Definitely a lot of National League teams, when they had the DH instituted, they are like, we're just going to rotate our players through to give them a day out of being on the field too, rather than having a set designated hitter like the American League had been able to build rosters for so long. So it was kind of fascinating to see that from a tactical perspective.
Yes, the beefiness of the designated hitters. Pacific League, of course, has the DH. The other league does not, because they are stuck in the 20th century.
I do like, though, that they're maintaining the difference with the recent changes, that pass
Oh.
ball is going to get 90 extra feet for Nakashima.
Yep, that's a passed ball, so runner inches even closer to scoring position.
And the Eagles are really thinking they got something cooking now. Sumida probably wants that pitch back. I wonder if it was a signal mix-up. Pass ball typically suggests that either it wasn't controlled very well or there was a mix-up of signs between the catcher and the pitcher.
And you can see on the strike zone, that is a very low curve ball. Asamura has 2 gold medals. He wasn't part of the WBC team, but he was part of the 2020 Olympics and the 2019 Premier 12. How excited are you for the Premier 12 coming up? I think it's this November.
Oh,
it's coming up soon.
Excited. Super excited. It's always nice to see what kind of team Samurai Japan is going to field, because this nation has become a baseball hotbed, and there are so many deserving players that it's really hard to whittle down to make a good roster. Do you take the old stalwarts? Do you take only up and coming young stars? Do you field a mix? So it's going to be cool to see what players represent their clubs on the national team for the tournament coming up in only a few months.
Japan, of course, in Group B, along with South Korea, Chinese Taipei, Cuba, the Dominican Republic, and Australia. Oh, hey, we've got a WBSC e-baseball and Olympic esports commentator, Dishnet34, in the chat. Good to see you staying up late, sir. We'll see if we can get a ball go far call going on. 3-0 count on Hideto Asamura right now.
And
low for ball 4. And now the bases are loaded with nobody out. Are we going to see a noble tiger or a noble lion in this case?
Ha ha ha.
Sorry, I'm trying to delete it.
Nah, a little too late for that. Looks like this is the pitching coach coming out to talk to Sumida. Trying to figure out what strategy is. I'm sure the infield's going to be playing in to cut the run.
Yeah, I can believe that. Little confab chat. While we're on the Premier 12, other games, other teams participating in Group A: Mexico, United States, Venezuela, Netherlands, Panama, Puerto Rico. I am a little bit miffed that Canada is not participating, because Panama is ranked higher now.
I'm trying to remember if that was influenced by the latest WBC ending or a qualifying tournament. I'm not 100% sure.
Might have also been the World Baseball Classic, that too.
Speaking of learning katakana, you see katakana on the helmet. You see it for different companies advertising, like
Yodobashi camera back there.
Yep. Wakta Denshi. Do they make electronics? That's right. That sounds right.
Canada, by the way, sits 16th behind Czechia, Italy, and Colombia.
Yeah, I think that's because of WBC, my friend.
It sounds about right. And Czechia and Japan baseball have a love affair for each other. It's so nice to see.
Yeah, it was so cool. There is a I guess I'll call him a beat writer employed by MLB's digital arm, the MLB.com, and he keeps tabs on international baseball happenings. That one, the umpire wore on the hand. Ouch.
It looked like it caught him on the thigh. This poor guy's gotten clipped a couple times
now.
Well,
he pulled his hand out of the way, so I'm thinking that was more hand than just thigh. But regardless, what was I saying? So he made an entire article about the relationship that blossomed during the WBC between the Czech and Samurai Japan baseball teams, and they're continuing that as far as cultural exchange. Japan's staff have gone over to the Czech Republic to help develop baseball over there. It's really, really neat.
Best baseball nation in the world, don't at me. Daichi Suzuki looking at an 0-2 count. Sacks full of Eagles right now. Sumida.
0-2 and nowhere to put him. Oh, did he go? Umpire's home plate.
Home
says
plate
he
umpires. He did.
Wow. Okay.
Daichi Suzuki strikes out for the second time today. This is a big one.
That is the biggest strikeout so far. But of course, it is notable that he's gotten the lefty twice, because isn't this assuming there's only his second strikeout?
Third, he got Oto.
Oh,
as
he got
well.
Ota earlier.
Well, Michael Franco's already had a grand slam once this season. Heck, he had one in which Franmil Reyes hit one in the same game. Now would be an opportune time for another.
Well, I mean, it's never a bad time for a grand slam, but, you know.
Ooh, Dishnet visiting Tokyo Dome in November. Color me jealous.
Oh,
Michael
dear.
Franco, high and deep to left field,
Ball go
and
far,
on the
but
warning
it's caught.
track. I was all ramped up for that. Nakashima will tag and score. Tatsumi advancing to third. It's an RBI sac fly for Michael Franco. Eagles lead 1-0.
Man, he just missed that one, too. He's mad. You can see it. He's like, oh, man, I wish I got that one back.
I'm not saying the baseballs are deadened, but I'm not saying that.
Officially, for what it is worth, that, you know, it looked real good. Like, that was solid.
If that was pulled a little bit more, that would have been gone. You could see the entire Eagles cheering section trying to will that into the stands.
Well, I mean, you know, they could start Carlton fisking it, wave it just slightly to the left.
I don't know, like, can you wave the fans so that the air goes in instead of out? Runners at the corners now for Hiroto Kobukata.
That was all kinds of excitement for
Folks, don't expect any more professionalism. We're after 1 a.m. here. Kobukata's going to give this one a ride. The outfield was drawn in.
Oh.
Caught by Manaya Nishikawa.
You know, for the loud, ridiculously loud contact that was, it could have been way worse.
Yep.
So, oh boy.
Eagles load the bases, only pot the 1 run, but 1 is all you need. Eagles lead 1-0 through 4 here. Michael Franco, so far the only runs batted in. Run, singular, by the way. I should mention that. Kuriyama, Tonosaki, Matsubara coming up in the top of the 5th. Matt's going to be on the call for this inning. I am going to refresh my beverage. See you soon.
All right. Also, shout out to Nick Springthorpe in the chat talking about how that was almost the call of the century. I'm sure my colleague Gabe will really appreciate that. So thanks so much for the comments. Keep them coming. We are only able to check in on them every so often, but we do appreciate all of you that are watching today. Thanks so much. If you like what you see and you want to see some more, there are definitely highlight videos that come out all the time on Pacific League TV English. So please don't forget to like, subscribe. That definitely helps us build this channel a little bit more. Obviously, we just picked up a new staff member as I raise my own hand. And it's very, very exciting to see this kind of reaching more people. It's great. So as Gabe mentioned, I will be on the call for this 5th inning as the main play-by-play guy. When he gets back from refreshing his beverage, he'll provide a little bit of the color commentary that I was hopefully doing okay on. Let me know, chat, if I did all right with that. Because of him being the official scorekeeper with the NPB branded scorebook, he has more on the details of like, oh, everyone came up and did this than I do. Fuji is coming back out to start this 5th inning here. Remembering, of course, that he tends to get deep into counts and his pitch count goes up pretty quickly. We'll see how long he can manage to stay in this game. He's definitely throwing like a shutdown pitcher right now, deserving of an all-star pick. Here comes the first pitch. There we go. There we go. And as mentioned previously, because Kuriyama was at bat when that pickoff, that toot bland happened, he's back at the plate now. It's his fresh count, though, and that is called a strike. Just about belt high, a little towards the inside of the plate. The 1-1. Gets the one he likes and flicks it to the middle infield. There's Murabayashi and makes the quick throw over to Franco. It is just in time. Probably probably could have been a better throw, but regardless, it works, and your first out is recorded.
The only rule is it has to work.
Fair enough. Welcome back.
Yep.
Don't know if you noticed, Gabe, in the chat, somebody was saying that was almost the call of the century on your grand slam interruptus.
Yeah, it would have. I mean, I've got my home run call in my back pocket. I've been lucky enough to do a couple sayonara calls for walk-off games.
Oh, I look forward to a day where there might be a chance. That was a strike taken on the outside for Shuta Tonosaki. Grounded out to third his first time up. And as mentioned, he's not hitting too great this season. Sorry, go ahead, Gabe. What you got?
I was just going to say, we got 92 people watching us right now. Thank you so much for making us a part of your evening. Time is precious, and I'm grateful that you've chosen to spend some of yours with us tonight.
Yeah, this merry band of wahoos doing this way too late. We're grateful that you're joining us from wherever you are joining us. That ball's in the dirt. It is now 2-2. Now, I can't speak to any particular pitch count trends with Fuji over his last few starts, but given that he's already at 64 through 4 1/3, I can't imagine that he's going to see more than 7 innings of work unless things start changing and the batters start becoming much more aggressive.
Well, to be fair, Fuji does, his career high is 7 1/3, so even 7 innings will be good.
Sure. But as far as how many pitches, that's an easy ground out handled by Hiroto Kobukata. Middle infield for the Eagles has been pretty busy today.
Kobukata in particular. All these lefties mean second basemen see a lot of action. Dolomite saying, only recently discovered MPB. Super thankful for our channel. Hey, we're happy to have you.
Yes, welcome. Please join the bandwagon and bring some friends, especially for these midnight matinees. They're so special. They're also so rare. We'd like to make them more frequent. And with your support, we might just be able to do that. Bunt attempt. Did pull it back to call the ball. Matsubara managed to line out his first time up. And he's hitting number 8 because he was so good at offensively contributing to the Yomiuri Giants who let him go because he was so good at offensively contributing. And there's another bunt attempt. He pulls it back, but the pitch was in there for strike 1.
Noticing a lot of sliders now from Fuji against Matsubara, probably because he doesn't want to give him anything hard to bunt against.
Well, especially because he's squaring so early. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Taken on the inside, but it's beautifully located. That one was his 2-seam, actually, according to the graphic.
He does have that in his arsenal. He doesn't rely on it too much, but he's got it tucked away.
Well, tucked away, but I was going to say there's a pretty big drop between his speed on the fastball and the 2-seam. That one's low and inside, ball 2. It's interesting to me. I don't think I've seen Fuji pitch out of what we call the windup. And that's a pretty quick 1-2-3 inning. You can be happy with that, although that was a very deep count. We turn it into the bottom of the 5th now, where the Eagles look to expand their lead. Murabayashi, Ota, and Ogo, your first 3 batters.
Bunch of interesting activity in the chat. Question around Ray and SD asking, will there be English commentary all season long? Not from us, unfortunately, but our good friends over at FTF Sports have you covered with Tuesday through Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, with English commentary. Or on watchdingo.com, live simulcasts with no commentary. So at least you won't get too confused about the commentators. Luke Paris mentioning the Lions logo looks like my local team, the London Majors. Hey, Inter-County Baseball League shout out. Nice. London Majors in one of the oldest continuously operating baseball stadiums in the world. John Labatt Stadium has been around since the 1800s.
All right, the mascot wins the
Clutchy.
race. Oof.
Attaboy.
I love that they make enough time for stuff like this to happen in the ballpark. They obviously do in majors as well, but it doesn't get broadcast the same way for people who are watching not at the stadium.
Oh yeah, they got commercials. No commercials here on Pacific League TV. No blackouts either.
Yeah. If only we got more broadcasts.
Oh, well,
But
no.
we are
Hey,
appreciative of what
let
we
me
have.
do my
We are
shameless
appreciative
plug
of
here,
what we
okay? So, shameless plug. If you subscribe to Pacific League TV, you'll get access to all Pacific League games, including Interleague, including the postseason, except for the Japan series. As well, you'll get access to all farm team games hosted at Pacific League stadiums, and an archive of clips and full games going back a full decade. In fact, if you tune into the game, I think it was May 26th in 2019, you might be able to spot me out in the left field bleachers.
I'll have to see if I can comb through that game. We're here in the bottom of the fifth, and home shortstop Murabayashi coming to the plate.
One of the tidbits I spotted on Murabayashi as I was researching game notes, people have said he looks like a kabuki actor. It's got to be the eyes, right?
The eyes are pretty
Teammates and
expressive.
media both say so.
The eyes are pretty expressive. Just imagine it with a bunch of face paint now. 0-1 pitch. Grounded to third and bobbled there. Oh, I believe that's Yamamura. He probably wants that one back.
Yeah, that's a tough play. I mean, third base is my position in softball, and anytime one of those balls gets hit so hard on the ground, I clench up a little bit.
They call it the hot corner. That definitely took an in-between hop, and it just ate him up. You saw him with the look of surprise at that. But
Waiting
that
on the
is
scorer's decision to see if it's a hit or an error.
Yeah, I was going to see that's probably a hit because there wasn't anything he could do. Like, it didn't really hit his glove. It bounced past him. Nomura holding him on. Sumida tries to pick him off just to keep him honest, I suppose. Murabayashi, not necessarily known as a base stealer, but obviously he's got enough speed. He's got a couple on the season. Here's the catcher, Ota, who's trying very obviously to move him 90 feet with the bunt attempt. Gets the bunt down, handled by Sumida, and throws it to Tonosaki covering first base. That'll be out number one. Murabayashi is now on second base. So they got another runner in scoring position, an inning after scoring the first run of this game. And if this
Please join me in
continues,
typing bunts in the chat.
I'll let you do that because I can't look at the right window to have the chat open.
It's worth pointing out we don't save these chats on for the broadcasts. But you'll
Yeah.
be able to watch all these all the midnight matinees and the former Baseball for Breakfast series here on the YouTube channel under the live section. We've got a year plus now of archive broadcasts. We've got walk-off wins. We got heartbreaks. We've got errors. We've had a lot of fun with these, and I'm glad you do too.
All right, in the box now is the very dangerous Yuya Ogo, the outfielder in prime position to add to his sterling so far numbers. Okay, maybe sterling's a bit of an overstatement, but nonetheless.
This is the
one of
2024
bright spots for
season,
this
man. Beggars can't be choosers.
team. But he's one of the bright spots for this team, no question. And takes one upstairs for ball one. Sorry for that delayed call. I saw the flash of a message before my eyes and tried to read it. Rookie mistake. Actually, as far as the K zone is concerned, that wasn't as upstairs as all that, but the umpire called it a ball.
I love the shots of the outfield stands too.
That
Having
one-
sat in the outfield bleachers, it really is a great experience to be immersed in the noise. My rule of thumb is whichever team you sit in the outfield bleachers for the cheer sections for, first becomes your ride or die club. That's why in the other league I cheer for the Tigers, and I still have a soft spot for these Eagles here in the Pacific League.
Fair enough. I remember going to my first NPB game and sitting very close to the fighters cheering section. Wasn't in it, but very close, and it was fascinating as the first experience. That was a very, very strong throw, but it was way outside ball two.
You have to wonder with Koga how well he's doing on the pitch framing.
Well, that wasn't even attempted to frame. He didn't move himself at all. For background viewers, my older brother and I both played baseball, and my brother was a catcher. So he talks about framing as the idea that you have to basically like snap your wrist to get the glove into place. And that one, he did not move his body. So it would have been a pretty good frame job if the pitch was anywhere near the strike zone, but it wasn't. Here comes the 2-1. Also outside, ball 3, and Sumida's about to lose Ogo, who's probably not the person you want to put on first base. Although if he puts him on first base, the double plays back in order.
It'd only be the second walk issued by Sumida as well. He's been very effective.
It's nice when you don't have too many walks given out, because those aren't the exciting plays of baseball, but it can lead to some crazy things.
And not to jinx it, Fuji has been able to keep the free passes down to a minimum. None so far through 5 innings.
Well, I cannot say yours is a rookie mistake, but watch, you just jinxed it. And that one, exactly where he wanted it to go, took a little off to make sure he could aim it precisely, and that was a very well pitched ball. 3-2. We are at a full count with 1 out and a runner on second base. The Eagles holding a 1-0 lead in this game against the Lions. This is game 15 in the series between these two teams thus far this season. Into today's game, they are exactly tied, 7 games apiece. Whoever wins, of course, earns the tiebreaker, and you'd have to bet that the Lions would feel really good about winning the season series over, well, just about anybody, because right now it's been that kind of year.
11-0 record. Latte over Cebu.
Breaking a little bit from the persona, every time I check the standings, I look for what I call weird zeros. The fact that Lotte has basically shut Cebu out of a win means that I am desperately rooting for the Lions to break that every single time that they play them.
It hasn't happened. Dog driving. If the Eagles win this, are they at 500? I think they go up to 500. Yeah,
they would be exactly 500. And it's hit into center field, and it is down. Rounding third and looking for the score. And Murabayashi throw is up the line, and there comes another run for your hometown Rakuten Golden Eagles. Well, maybe not your hometown, but the home team. Thanks for checking out this game from wherever you are watching. We very much appreciate that and all of the support. Thanks for chiming in the comments section. And thank you, Rakuten, personally, for extending the chance to have me do a little bit of play-by-play. This has been fun.
Yeah, you're getting an actual long inning here. Good on you.
Yeah, you were once saying that like it might be done before my midnight. Now I'm just like, no way.
I do have an out-of-town scoreboard update to do once this inning is over, though. Interesting stuff going on at ESCON.
Yeah, the last time I looked over there, it was fascinating. But I'll let you update our dear audience here when we get to the end of the 5th inning, and I hand back the play-by-play duties to you. So now with the runs scored, we have another runner on first. This time Ogo, who, as we've already mentioned, is the 3rd most stolen bases in the Pacific League. It'll be fascinating to see if he tries to take off against the left-handed pitcher here.
I'm calling it now. Yuya Ogo is going to have a 2020 season at some point in his career.
I mean, why not this year? Well, maybe he needs more power for that. But
he's 15 shy right now, yes.
The All-Star break is already basically here. There's a pickoff move to first to keep Ogo honest and trying to prevent him from picking up steal number 20, which would make him only the 3rd player in the league thus far to have that. Nakashima back at the plate. He already has a hit in this game. And as previously mentioned, he is already proven to be quite good at getting multi-hit games. Half of his appearances. Let's see if he can make it more than half by doing so in Game 7. That is hit on the ground. Genda looking for a double play. Gets it easily. And that will retire the side. So we get to the end of the 5th inning here. It is the Rakuten Golden Eagles 2 and the Lions 0. Coming up to start the 6th, you have the catcher Koga, shortstop Genda, and the center fielder Nishikawa. Thanks for enjoying some play-by-play by me, and now I will return to my more typical debut role of color. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Matt. Gabe Lerman and Matt Seivert here in the virtual booth. Jimbo Bernicki unavailable due to illness. Due to work.
he's
professional.
working.
Yeah, it's Mike Bealey who's unavailable due to illness. Poor guy's resting up. Some questions in the chat as we wait for the next inning to start. What's your favorite player's Owendon? That's a tough one. Trying to think. Honestly, I'm more of like a chant song kind of guy. And no, that's not true. Koji Oshiro on the Buffaloes has a great call and response section. It's a shame he never plays. Out of town scoreboard update. Speaking of the Hokkaido Nippon Ham fighters playing the SoftBank Hawks right now, Chusei Manami, his 11th home run of the season, a solo shot in the bottom of the fourth. That game is tied at ones in the bottom of the fifth. Moinello, 78 pitches already with one out here in the bottom of the fifth. We're going to watch a rematch of that exact game 1 month from now, plus 2 weeks, August 25th, back here.
Well,
Motomoto saying, Shimauchi, Koko de Shimauchi, na 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 na. Yeah, that's a good one. Rickety Cricket asking, maybe a weird question, but can I ask how you both got involved with PLTV? In Matt's case, he is a YouTube chatter who got elevated because he was brave enough to reach out to us directly, and we got to talking, and he passed a couple interviews.
Yeah, no, I was in the chat much like you, and they were talking about trying to expand coverage a little bit, and my background, I was both a baseball player and I lived in Japan for 5 years. I have kind of referred to it a little, but I thought it was a really good fit for my skills, and so I've been trying to make my mark here, and this is the first time I got on a midnight matinee in this role.
And as for me, going around to all 12 teams, all by train, all in one trip in 2019, sort of established my Japanese baseball bona fides. I had the chance to connect with the CEO of PLTV, the former CEO. He got to talking. He connected me with our Japanese production team. And since 2012, I've been lucky enough to do these live broadcasts, in addition to the highlight reels, which I started the year prior.
Hey, thank you, East Bay 66, for pointing out recent pitch counts by Eagles starter Masaru Fuji. He had 104 in his, looks like, his interleague starts. Yeah, so against Hanshin, he had 104, 77 versus Yomiuri, 104 versus Nippon Ham most recently there, 111 versus the Lions the last time, and 109 versus SoftBank Hawks in his most recent start. So it wouldn't be surprising if he gets up over that triple-digit threshold again.
Good to see that he's been able to stretch out and become a true starting pitcher after easing into it as a reliever last season. Actually, let me double check the math. I think since he pitched 5 innings today, if he gets another, or in his next start, he will have double the number of innings pitched this year compared to last.
That is a really good number, especially when you're converting out of the bullpen. Of course, all starters would prefer to be all pitchers, would prefer to be a starting pitcher because there's more responsibility. You've got to be a better pitcher. But as it is, you also need people to take the ball when your starter's gassed, when they're having trouble. They've seen a hitter too many times. You're seeing here Maikel Franco's very near grand slam that Gabe was very excited about. And I don't blame him. It was a really loud contact.
I was trying to will that ball.
I was also very hoping that ball would go out. But
Connor, don't worry. The game's not over. Pacific League TV broadcasts do a mid-game highlight reel just to catch you up if you were late in joining after the 5th inning.
So
it's one of those fun little things about the Japanese sport that you get used to.
So we got 3 hits for the Lions so far, 5 for the Eagles, which have scored 2 runs, 1 last inning and 1 in the 4th. And here we go in the top of the 6th. We're more than halfway through the 9 innings expected. Also on our broadcast, we're seeing an out-of-town scoreboard, bottom of the 5th, between the Hawks and Fighters, as we mentioned. And you can see Central League highlights there, but I won't say anything about that because I'm not really supposed to say much about the other league.
I will say, good for Yokohama.
Yeah, very good for Yokohama early on. Moving on.
That is all I will say. Maikel Franco owner of the first RBI in the game. The second came from Yuya Ogo, who got erased on that double play ball by Daisuke Nakashima.
And you can tell
There's
a
Ogo
rhythm.
there.
You can tell there's a rhythm to where the camera people are going. And I bet that in the native language commentary booth, they're talking about, here's how the runs were scored. Camera people, go there.
Nick Springthorpe is saying, is the mid-game reel in place of the seventh inning stretch? Oh, you summer child. No, there's two seventh inning stretches in Japanese baseball.
I was about to say, even I'm not enough of a summer child for that one. Springthorpe also said apparently he's Canadian and also in the Eastern time zone. So I think he said, howdy, neighbor, in the chat, something like that.
How's it going, eh?
However you say it up there in Canada, I don't know anything about that.
Take off, you hoser. I can lean into the accent when I need to. Yuto Koga, the catcher, up at the plate here. Fuji working into his sixth inning of work. There was an interesting battle for the starting catcher spot after Tomoya Mori left from Seibu to join Oryx. It was either Sena Tsuge or Yuto Koga, and Koga won the starting job.
You know, I'm sensing a theme here about why the Lions haven't won a title since 2008. Huh. Could it be that most of their best players left for greener pastures somewhere else?
I mean, arguably Shogo Akiyama left for greener pastures and then came back to slightly different, little less green pastures.
Well, I mean, he's over in the Central, so we don't care about him anymore. But for what it's worth, I would definitely say Tomoya Mori, and you mentioned that Hideta Wasamura is a former Lion as well. Yesterday's starter, Takayuki Kishi, there we go. I got it eventually.
Let's see who else. Shogo Akiyama, we mentioned.
Yep. Ball four, he gets a walk.
Oh, no, wait. Was that the next batter after I jinxed it?
Aha.
Okay, we're even now.
Rookie mistake.
Oh, we have fun.
Well, and this is the first live one that we've done together, so we're also kind of feeling it out, and I hope that it's enjoyable for all of you in the chat and watching along at home, wherever home may be. And I know I'm having a ball here from where I'm at in the virtual booth.
Sosuke Ganda, team captain, coming up to the plate, sends this foul. Oh, no, that's in play. Nakashima backing up. Abuts the Owendan song. One out here in the top of the sixth.
Well, when you just don't have that long to cheer. I'm still waiting for the highlight of the human highlight reel that we have promised, but I'm looking forward to something from him. Now, I say that like it has to be every single game, but...
He's allowed to have, quiet games.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
All right, little confab with the coaching staff here. Fuji.
The first mound visit for Rakuten in this game thus far.
Connor Brum asking, who is the best player in the league? All right, best player in the Pacific League, hands down, it's Kensuke Kondo.
I was about to say that's not much of an argument, but if you were going to say
he is that
else,
man.
Oh boy.
Although I will say Chusei Manami is going to start entering the conversation very soon.
Oh, of course. Five-tool player. If he ever puts it all together, then he's got to grasp at that title as well. But for now, it's Kondo until proven otherwise. I mean, obviously, you look last year, you might have argued that Yamamoto was the best player, bar none, in Pacific League. But now that he's over in MLB, although he's on the injured list, boo, Dodgers.
You ruined him.
Well, I'm also booing the Dodgers because I'm a Rockies fan, for those of you who didn't know and haven't checked out the podcast.
Oh, yeah, check out the podcast here on this YouTube channel. We do it roughly every week.
And I've already been on that multiple times, so maybe you've heard some of my story.
Yanagita is in. Rickety Cricket saying, what about Yuki Yanagita? No, Yanagita's still really good, not washed at all.
No, but
it's just because he's hurt.
It's comparable to Mike Trout in so many ways. I saw
except the number of rings.
Yes, no. In many ways. I did not say all. Because definitely you trade Mike Trout to the SoftBank Hawks, and yeah, he's got as many rings and better numbers, arguably, than Yanagita. But
Nishikawa lines this into right field. Goes on it quickly. He's going to try and stop Koga going first to third. No dice. Yuto Koga with some heads-up base running.
Hey,
and now,
it's the first time the Lions have had a runner past second all game. Maybe they're putting something together.
That is correct.
Something about willing that into existence. Anyway.
Nice spin on the ball there you got to see on that camera shot. Nishikawa with his first hit of the game. And now the Lions have something cooking. Runners at the corners. Daiju Nomura, recently acquired from the Hawks, coming up.
And Nomura was just, victim of the system. The Hawks have so many pieces that they did not need him. And so hopefully he'll blossom into something good for the Lions. But small sample size, it's not been good so far.
Hey, you know what? He had his first NPB hit, or first hit with the Lions, rubbed out because he forgot to touch first. That's a mistake anyone can make.
That is true. I just made a rookie mistake of jinxing what was then a no-hitter. So,
besides, he made sure to step on the base firmly the next time around.
Right. Make sure I hit it this time. Nobody can say I didn't. Dishnet in the chat is asking about the Lions. What MLB team might they be compared to at this point? Well, you got a couple of choices, and none of them are very good teams this year. I would say that between a good pitching staff with an underwhelming offense, they're kind of like arguably the Chicago White Sox, who have one of the worst winning percentages in MLB. That's grounded through the left side. The Lions are going to get a run on the board here. Koga comes in to score and cuts the deficit in half. The Lions do have something cooking now. Look at that. And Sumida's very, very happy about that. Looks like he is holding the ball to get a little bit more going here.
And then you hear the Cebu fans out in right field hollering their team theme song to celebrate the RBI.
May as well make a deal of it. Another visit, and this time Imaya is pulling Fuji out of the game. He did not get to 90 pitches. He did not make it through 6 innings, but otherwise had a phenomenal start. 5 1/3, 84 pitches, only allowed 5 hits, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk, and 1 run allowed. Otherwise known as a good start. Maybe not to the level of quality start. I think the threshold is 6 innings for that. But but it was a really good start for Fuji here, I think.
And the Eagles bullpen has some phenomenal pieces, including all-star closer Takahiro Norimoto, the Taiwanese Titan Sung Cha Hao.
Yeah, it's going to be, once they hand it over to the bullpen, they might be able to shut the lid on this nascent little thing here. Is that the new pitcher, Watanabe? Looks like it.
Look. Yep, I'm working on getting some info on him. Shota Watanabe entering the game here as the reliever, right-handed thrower, so all of a sudden now the handedness is on the other side. 3rd round selection in the 2022 draft from Kyushu Sangyo University.
Kyushu, near and dear to my heart. I lived in Kumamoto Prefecture, so despite the Hawks dynasty being very, very in effect when I was there, I was only a prefecture away and never saw any of the games. Foolish me. Although it is interesting, you talk about the handedness of the pitcher changing means that, hypothetically we're going to the other side of the seesaw with regard to platoon advantage now. And I bet that the Lions hitters are kind of excited about that, especially with how they've been swinging the bats this inning.
I'm taking a look on the info on Shota Watanabe. Interesting pitch mix. Big 3 pitches are a fastball, a cutter, and a palm ball.
Ooh.
Something you never see in North America.
Yeah, just about as rare as the spitball. Oh, wait, that was banned. Never mind.
Yeah, banned.
22 appearances on the year. He's actually 4-0 with 3 credited holds. He's got a 1.99 ERA thus far. Yeah, this bullpen.
Another thing I adore about the trivia here, there's a basketball player for the Sendai 89ers, also named Shota Watanabe. Like, the Will Smith versus Will Smith
Yeah,
thing.
right. Did that actually? I can't remember. I think that matchup actually happened. Will Smith, the reliever, against Will Smith, the catcher of the Dodgers.
I think so. Junichiro Kishi up at the plate. Runners at first and second with only 1 out here. Also impressive about Watanabe, finished second in Pacific League Rookie of the Year voting to Shunpeita Yamashita.
Well, I mean, Yamashita definitely earned it, but Yamashita has not been as good this season.
He's been injured too.
Well, yes, he was injured, but when he came back, he's been fighting for control a lot more than it felt like he did last season.
Maybe the scouting book is out on him.
Well, I mean, what's the old adage? You can't coach speed.
I was thinking more tin stop. There's no such thing as a pitching prospect.
Oh, no such thing as all prospects are suspects until proven otherwise.
So yeah, you can see the new strike zone, the gray square, palm. This is the first time I've ever seen this.
He's also got a split curveball, slider, and a cut fastball. Presumably, is their cut the border there.
Ooh,
that was the
big
cut
swing
right there.
and a miss on the cutter.
It's kind of fun when you accidentally speak things into existence. It's way more fun when you purposely get them to speak into existence. Like if that had been a grand slam from Maikel Franco.
I don't think I would have been able to go to bed that tonight. I just would have been like staying up thinking, what else can I speak into existence? The power of will.
This
it is 1:40 in the morning here. You're not going to get lucidity out of me.
Hey, that's why I'm here to help. And it's not nearly 1:40 in the morning for me. It is instead only 11:41 in the evening.
Here you get a first look at the palm ball. Very little rotation. Lot of drifting action on the right-handed batters.
I guess the difference between the palm ball and the knuckle ball idea is that your knuckles are like on the seams somewhere, which definitely, that's hit pretty well into left field, but underneath.
Nakashima makes the grab. Runners will not tag.
Opportunity wasted. Hey, if
it's still 2 down.
I'll pretend to pull for the Lions a little bit. Speaking of the Lions, what MLB team? I keep comparing them on the podcast, which go listen if you haven't. I keep comparing them to the Rockies, the Colorado Rockies, because they're not great.
Also, they have a unique stadium. The Luna Dome, of course, has the lid that sits on top like a tea kettle lid, which also in the summer makes it really steaming hot.
Yeah, I'm sure they're happy to not be in their dome right now. Actually, they're really happy not to be in their dome right now. The last 10 games at home, I looked this up erroneously because I thought for some reason that they were the home team. They're not, but they're only 1-9 in their last 10 home games. The Lions are, which ouch.
East Bay 66 saying he's an A's fan, so everyone hush.
Hey, the A's are still making the Rockies, are still looking down at the Rockies. So.
Yeah, but the Rockies will exist next season.
Hey, the A's will exist next season.
Just not in Oakland.
They'll be in Sacramento, which is objectively way worse for them, but that's something we don't need to talk about much.
Yep. Back to the game at action. Shota Watanabe came in to relieve Masaru Fuji. Runners at first and second are Fuji's responsibility. 1-1 on the way. Lined into right field, over the head of the center fielder. That's going to split the outfielders possibly. Ogo is on it. Runner will score. Nishikawa to come in. We are all tied up.
Hey, Lions doing things. Hey, they're halfway to 4 runs. You know what 4 runs means, Gabe?
No.
4 is the magic number for the Lions. Scoring 4 runs has been the number of runs they've scored in their last 4 aforementioned road wins. I kid you not.
I can believe it. Yamamoto picks up his RBI. Helps erase the tootbland he got in his previous at-bat. Runners at the corners now. Nomura going first to third. Sumida getting loose over on the sidelines, as starting pitchers used to do. We're all tied up in a game that used to be Eagles all the way. Lions clawing their way back in. Veteran Kuriyama, 40 years old, up at the plate. He could get to 2,200 hits this season.
I don't have a number off the top of my head how many players have accomplished that feat, but I imagine it gets progressively smaller at each round big number. I mean, he's going on 23 years. How many players have beat that to accumulate all those stats? It's what a career.
And he's already a member of the Golden Players Club, the Mei Kyukai, which is open to any player.
Isn't that 2,000?
2,000 hits,
Yep.
250 wins, or 300 saves. That's right.
I believe in the case of the
Sorry,
Mei
250
Kyukai,
saves. My bad.
in the case of the Mei Kyukai, it does also consider if a player accumulates certain of those stats in MLB as well.
That's right. That's why Yoshihisa Hirano, sitting on 249 saves in Japan, isn't too fussed. He's already got some in North America, so he's already in. That's a fun saga to keep an eye on. 2-0 on the way from Shota Watanabe. Bounced in the dirt with a fastball. 3-0 the count.
Also, I very much appreciate Castro in the chat for saying Rockies, whoa, because that's, I guess, a shout out. I'll call it that. Anyway. Catching up on the chat while doing this is fun. Oof.
Sunbun actually called out Shota Watanabe as the guy with the mean palm ball before we brought it up.
Oh, yeah.
Kudos to him.
Hey, it's
We have
great
some
when
baseball
some-
knowers in the chat.
Well,
Love to see it.
And this is exactly how I put my foot in the door here, right? Knowing things.
I watch baseball and I know things.
Played baseball for 11 years. I happen to know some things.
Hikaru Ota behind the dish. 3-1 count now. A lot of misses low, which I guess you'd rather have because
Yeah.
if you
don't
miss
want to
high,
get the
it
ball.
ends up elsewhere.
Well, with the deadened, not deadened balls, it might not end up over the fence, unlike MLB. But in this chat, this lovely exchange from Nick Springthorpe. Yeah, Will Smith versus Will Smith happened. Will Smith won, by the way. And it refuses to explain which one.
Murabayashi giving a quick chat to Shota Watanabe. Toshiaki Imae and those cool sunglasses chilling in the
captain
dugout.
of the infield, taking the initiative and talking to his pitcher. That's pretty good.
And now it's the Lions with the sacks juiced. Shuta Tonosaki, nicknamed Apple Punch because his parents own an apple orchard in his hometown. He's also one of the more animated Lions players. He's got a couple of Line stickers. Line being the messaging app that's so prevalent in Japan.
Also, I'm really happy to see all of these people who live so close to Coors Field coming out of the woodwork for this midnight matinee, which is about to turn over to midnight in our time zone. It's really cool. We should, if I were, more actively checking the chat, I would say we should meet up and go to a Rockies game and commiserate over how bad they are and talk NPB.
Please show up in NPB gear.
That
Make
only helps
everyone
if I have it.
confused. Yeah, we're all Kazmatsui fans. There's a Rockies connection for you.
There is
Kazuo
a Rockies
Matsui
connection.
was the manager of the Seibu Lions last season, and then partway through this one,
Yep,
he
he got-
left the team, and now Hisanobu Watanabe, the GM, is taking over as manager for the remainder of the season.
As I recall, he's a former manager, like dugout manager, before he was elevated to the GM role. So it's kind of a return for him as well. Yep. The
Tomasaki, 1-1 the count.
Come on, punch it out to left, Mr. Appleman. Oh, wait, that's not how the nickname goes.
Ball 2 now. There's that cutter missing inside.
Tell you what, though, Watanabe is not the name with the most recognition from the bullpen. And it's not going as well as he'd want it to right now.
The fans with the cheer towels are trying to will him on. You'll notice, for those of you who are new to the NPB, that the home fans don't cheer when the visitors are up to bat. That's the visitors' time to cheer. Hit on the ground, picked up by Suzuki, force out at third, bleeding, stemmed, almost a bat-around inning.
The Lions will really regret not pushing more over the plate, but it was a very productive inning for them to get back into this game. Hey, apparently they sold out.
I'm glad you can read that. I can't.
It says Manin Ore, which is full seats gratitude, basically.
Question from Rickety Cricket. Does every stadium have a home fans and visiting fans section? Yes, every team does. And interestingly enough, for 3 teams in the Pacific League, the arrangement is reversed from the usual, where the home fans have left field and the visitors have right. In the entire other league, it is home fans in right field.
I do find those kind of distinct things very fun. You also notice it, maybe not here at Rakuten Mobile Park, but in certain MLB parks where like the expectation is the home team has the first base dugout and the visitors have the third base dugout, but they actually switch that, like regularly speaking. It's really neat.
Question in the chat, what would the Eagles MLB equivalent be then? Honestly, I'd go with the Diamondbacks. Expansion team, relatively young, one fluky championship that they will wear for the rest of their life.
Hey, that 2001 championship was not fluky. Last year's World Series appearance, that was the fluke.
Okay, no, that is true then. I sorry, trying to delete it.
No, you're good. Well, I mean, Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, oh my gosh, great pitching staff on that 0-1 Diamondbacks, and they took down the Yankees, so I will never complain about that. But last year, they surprised a lot of people getting to the World Series at all. They were hot at the absolute right time. The Phillies had them on the brink of elimination, and they pulled it out anyway. What a comeback.
Oh, another element about the D-backs connection, color scheme.
Fair enough.
Arizona's got the brick red, and Rakuten's got the men in maroon.
Yeah, fair enough. I didn't think about that one. As far as like their record goes this year, I would say they're kind of like, oh gosh, what's a team that has a pretty solid lineup, but they're kind of underwhelming in pitchers and they're hovering around 500. Like those are the
Rangers. Tatsumi's going to get into this one. That's going to be on the fly. Oh, snow cone there by Nishikawa. Little center fielder on center fielder through violence right there.
I don't think that one will make top 10, but it was a very nice play. I mean, it depends on what else comes out of the Pacific this week, but I don't think that one specifically will make the 10, but it's a really fine play nonetheless. On the run,
mention that the Eagles have never worn teal. I think that may actually be one of their special jerseys this year.
What?
I think their summer jersey this year is like baby blue.
Willing this comparison of Eagles to Diamondbacks in existence, Gabe. Wow, look at you.
I'm trying. Power of positive thinking. Hideto Asamuda, 7 home runs, 33 RBIs, both lead the Eagles. Beautiful breaking ball there by Sumida. Sadly misses outside, ball 2.
Thanks, Nick Springthorpe. Your power of positive thinking might make this go into existence. The PLTV Coors takeover. Make it happen, chat. I love it.
You see the wind blowing with all the flags up there, blowing straight across left field to right field. Gonna make things a little bit tougher for all the righties in the lineup. Lots of curveballs being fed to Asamura by Sumida this at bat. Asamura just mistimes it. And I wonder, Matt, if that's also why there's so many lefties, figuring the wind out to right field may make for an easier distance on fly balls.
Well, it would make easier distance on fly balls, but that only happens if you're... Oh, that's a trap. That's... Yeah,
that is a safe... Yep. Asamura's safe on the single to right field.
Sorry, what was I saying? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's something that you might be able to try and plan for, but like it's not completely dependent on the batter, right? If you're doing a good job of batting, you're going to hit the ball where it's pitched. So if the ball is into left-handers, away to righties, you can hit it towards the right field and kind of take advantage of the wind. Asamura actually
Perfect
did
example.
a pretty good job of that right there. But you notice that it didn't have a ton of carry to it. It wasn't like it hung up forever because it was just riding air all the way out into the stands. It just was a little dink and dunk into right field.
But hey, that probably worked out better for Asamura. If it was too strong, or Matsubara would have.
Oh yeah, no, Matsubara would have absolutely caught that. He was literally like half step away from doing so.
Daiichi Suzuki, former Chiba Lotte Marine, joined the Eagles in 2020. Almost wound up being like a trade of free agents because Manabu Mima went the other way from Lotte to went the other way from Rakuten to Lotte in that same offseason. Daiichi Suzuki does have a couple Golden Gloves to his name, but not this decade. Not the 2020s, I mean. Sort of a utility infielder, can play first, can play third. I honestly was surprised to see Michael Franco playing first base instead of third. I know Franco best as a third baseman.
I was about to say that was his position in majors, even though he didn't stick in the majors for terribly long. Sorry to Greg Thomas Jr. in the chat. All our talk about the 2001 World Series is opening up wounds for him as a Yankees fan. But hopefully you're enjoying one of these NPB teams, or at the very least, enjoying our broadcast on Pacific League TV English. Thanks for joining us.
Caught by the first baseman. That is a 3-6-3 double play. Excellent work by Daiju Nomura to double off Asamura. A little bit of catch played. Sumida threw 6 innings. It is the visitors' lucky 7. Sing along if you know the words. Ah, the sound of the jet balloons. I'm so glad they're back in Japan. One thing the coronavirus pandemic took away from us was losing the sound of all those jet balloons get inflated and then released into the air and making a giant mess everywhere that people have to clean up.
All right, we got a new pitcher. Looks like, did I hear him say Suzuki Shota? Is that right, Gabe?
I think that's Sora Suzuki.
Sora Suzuki. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. But the new pitcher. And sorry, I was so busy trying to figure out how to read the kanji of his name that I forgot to look at his numbers. Darn it. Oh, well. You see a listing of the other pitchers that are still available. 2 lefties, including Nick Turley and the big motor, Yuge himself, and 4 more righties in the pen available for Rakuten there.
Sung Cha-ha, one of them, and the other, the closer, Takahiro Morimoto.
Morimoto. Fujihira, I think is the name, and Yoshikawa are the other two, in case you're curious.
Sora Suzuki was a busy man in the 2023 season. His 61 appearances led the Pacific League. 22 holds during that time frame. ERA of 3.61.
Well, and again, for those of you who are joining and you heard me say that this is the first time I've ever done this, a rookie question. What does it take to be credited with a hold for the folks back home and myself?
To be credited with a hold, you need to enter a game with the lead and leave the game with a lead.
Does it count if you're tied? So like in this
No,
situation.
it does not.
Okay, so he can't actually be eligible for a hold in this game.
That's correct. And
Got it.
interestingly enough, you can be eligible for a blown save even if you're not eligible for the save.
Well, sure, if you let the team get ahead and you're pitching like 3 or more innings in relief.
Not even. Even if
Really?
you don't pitch a single out, if you had the lead and you leave without it, that's considered a blown save.
Because you didn't record any out, but you left without a lead, then yeah, that makes sense.
Sora Suzuki's pitching motion is known for being having a unique windup. Fastball, slider, primary pitch options. There's a slider there. 0-2 count. But it'll also throw in a curveball, a sinker, and a two-seamer.
In a battle with this batter who's fouled it off the left side twice, it means that he's probably not getting to those pitches in time. He's a little bit late, and that's why they're going to the opposite field here.
Another lefty as well. Suzuki here. 0-2 on the way. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Matsubara down on K's. Heck of an appearance to start the top of the 7th. I mean, if I was Toshiaki Imae, I am not Toshiaki Imae, but if I was, I'd queue up Sung for the 8th, Norimoto for the 9th, and then hope that you can just pull ahead in the next 9 outs.
Well, I mean, the time to get ahead is running surprisingly low if they can't get anything more going. I mean, they had 2 consecutive good innings with the bat, but the last one was pretty quick. And so, I mean, it's always different every single time. You never know what's going to happen. You cannot predict baseball. It's one of the best things about the sport.
That's baseball, Susan.
Oof. If only there was a runner on base to take advantage of that pass ball.
Sosuke Genda, human highlight reel. 1 for 3 today with a strikeout. You'll notice the captain's C. That's another distinctly Japanese thing in the modern game. In majors, nobody really wears a captain's C. I think in Japan, every single team has one.
They do have designated captains. By the way, to correct you, Genda is on deck. Koga is at the plate.
Ah, my mistake. This is what I get for using my scorebook and misreading it. 2-0 on the way from Suzuki. Chop foul. You can hear some of the jet balloons starting to get filled up here.
Is that what that is? I thought it was a wolf whistle from the crowd. I'm just kidding. Now, the jet balloons are probably only done for the home team's Lucky 7, I presume, right?
There were a couple I heard at the end of the visiting Lucky 7, but yeah, not every team does it. If I'm not mistaken, teams at the Tokyo Dome are asked not to do it at all because it's a pain in the butt to clean up.
That must have been a relatively fast pitch because the text was yellow saying 152 kilometers per hour. For me, who doesn't know metric as well as I know freedom units, I'll look up the conversion.
That's 94 and a half miles per hour.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty fast for NPP.
Different looks. You had Fuji, the soft tosser, or softer tosser. Mm-hmm. Another swing and a miss. Koga down on strikeouts. Now you got Sora Suzuki coming out with Fuego. Gratuitous English.
It's
like they know we're watching.
East Bay 66 in the chat confirming that the Eagles, the Hawks, and the Toyo Carp from the other league do jet balloons. Hajin apparently used to.
Yeah, like I said, the pandemic, realizing people's spit and moisture would be spewing around.
Well, sure, but even there, that's only 4 of the 12 total teams in NPB, so I'm kind of surprised it wasn't higher. Oh, that's what they've been showing. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, neither have I. This is news to us. Sosuke Genda sitting on 999 hits.
Come
How
on.
did we miss this
Will
in our
1,000
notes?
into existence. Yes! The power of positive thinking, Gabe.
We have got to somehow use our voices in the highlight clip for this on the Pacific League YouTube channel. Congratulations, Omerito and Banzai to Sosuke Genda, the human highlight reel, with an opposite field single for his 1,000th career NPB hit.
Oh, man. Well, and it'd be an honor to be tied to anything of the human highlight reel making a highlight. To have my voice on there, that'll be so cool from where I started, engaging with this channel. So an honor.
Everyone in the chat's like saying, give him the sign to hold up. Give them time, will ya? Sheesh.
Also, BD, I think I read earlier that BD lives in Colorado somewhere and is providing a bunch of updates in scoring and other game action from our out-of-town stuff. When we get to the end of this inning, I'll go ahead and provide an out-of-town score update.
Anaya Nishikawa singled and scored in the top of the 6th. Almost bat-around inning that made the score the current box score that you see. Sosuke Genda standing at first with 2 down. Sora Suzuki trying to put up a 0 here. Nishikawa with a very interesting batting stance with how he holds the bat.
Yeah, well, I've seen a couple of hitters in this game that have the bat head more towards the mound. You don't see that nearly as much in MLB, but let it never be said that there are a ton of very unusual batting stances throughout baseball. I love that there's no set batting stance that everybody uses because there are so many ways to be successful at the plate. Although that swing did not look very good, it was at least a solid cut.
One thing I adore the different batting stances. Tomoya Mori with that hovering leg before he swings. I keep trying to replicate that in my softball games.
Good luck balancing.
I end up on my hindquarters. Got some love for Chusei Manami in the chat as well.
Yeah, that's that will be a reference there.
0-2 on the way to Manaya Nishikawa from Sora Suzuki. Quick step off to check in on Sosuke Genda. You're the Cebu fans out in the right field bleachers trying to will their team to get a run. All about positive thinking. Did he go?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, no, that was pretty obvious to me immediately. They did
Sora
appeal
Suzuki strikes out the side around Genda's 1,000th hit. We head to the lucky 7 for the home side. Ganbare, ganbare, rakuten. Sing along if you know the words. But first, this message. Take a screenshot, folks. 1,000 hits for Sosuke Genda.
And there it is on the scoreboard as well. Real quick, while they're doing the ceremony here, we are in the bottom of the 7th. In the Hawks Fighters game, Moinello is still pitching last I checked, but the Nippon Ham plated another run in the 6th that is now 2-1, and they're going into, or they're in the middle of, the bottom of the 7th inning.
Oh, I heard special version.
You did.
Love it.
Also, thank you in the chat. There is a clarification from Enchilada that Moinello is done.
All right, bottom of the 7th. Chihiro Sumida still working away there.
Well, I mean, you look at the pitch count difference between him and...
Oh my goodness, 65?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, when you look at the pitch count difference between him and Fuji, I mean, that makes some sense. I am a little surprised that he's still in the 7th because this is more than the third time through the order, but that's perhaps my MLB gear.
That's your analytics showing through.
Well, my baby analytics. I know about the third time through the order penalty, but I don't know enough of the math to be good at citing all the advanced stats. It's fun, and it really helps explain the game of baseball, adds context. But I don't think they're going to pull him out unless this inning gets really rough because he's not even at 70 pitches with that throw. Beautiful, beautiful movement on that curve. Although, nope,
when the
change
up and curves look pretty much the same. They both got the same kind of loping motion. We've seen some pitchers here on the Midnight Matinee where their curveballs are below highway speed, less than 100 kilometers an hour or 60 miles per hour. That's like close to an ephus.
Yeah, no, the thing that you're looking for, my baby analytics brain kicking in here, is the pitch tunneling effect, where, they take the similar path until they diverge. And so it when they diverge as late as possible with different kinds of movement, it's really, really hard for a hitter to distinguage between those. Swinging at this there, ugly, strikes out. He's not even going to contest it. How many strikeouts is that for Sumida now, Gabe?
That would be 4 by my count.
Yep, I think so.
Which is why he's been so efficient.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. He's not been doing a ton of striking out, and when you're not getting too deep into counts, you can keep your pitch counts lower. Fuji obviously had the opposite problem. He was nibbling away too much at the outer parts of the zone, and hitters weren't biting, so it took more pitches to get through an at-bat.
Hiroto Kobukata coming up now. More lefty-on-lefty action. I gotta check. Sumida's 145 kilometers per hour. That's gotta be low 90s. Yeah, 90 miles per hour, basically on the nose.
Well, thank you for putting it into freedom units, because one of these days I'll have to learn the conversions, but I haven't.
I have like shorthands that I remember.
Yeah.
Like over 150 is fast.
Hey, for in my defense, this is my first one. You've been doing this for a few times, and thanks for letting me join you tonight. It's been a blast thus far.
It's been my pleasure, Matt. I'm thrilled to have more members of the team coming on here. For those of you just joining us, where were you? Gabe Lerman and Matt Seivert here in the virtual booth. The game's taking place at Rakuten Mobile Park Miyagi in Sendai, Japan, between the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles and the Saitama Seibu Lions. As you can tell from the special uniforms, Eagles celebrating their 20th anniversary today with this series.
Specifically today, or just this season, obviously, being the 20th
This
season?
is the fourth and final game in which they're busting out the special jerseys.
I am super honored the fact that we got to broadcast a game with those special anniversary jerseys. If you want to buy them, Well, get in touch with us and we'll point you in the right direction.
Yeah, trust me, I've talked with the powers that be about opening up a merch shop. It is there must be a translation barrier going on there.
No. I as I said, we'll point you in the right direction. I know nothing more than that.
Yes, that is fair. Sumida, 76th pitch.
Ooh,
Chopped up
right
the middle,
back to
the pitcher. Sumida throws to
DFP,
Nomura.
boy. Pitcher fielding practice always pays off.
PFP.
If there are any young pitchers watching this game, put yourself in a position after you've thrown the ball to field the ball so it's less likely to nail you. But assuming that you're as young as I think you are, unless you're in a time zone that is earlier than mine, you should be asleep. So there goes that idea.
Hey, summer vacation's coming around. You never know.
Coming around. I think most people are in the throes of it already.
I don't know. It's been a while. Enchilada, Sumida cannot do a Maddox. It is not a shutout. He has failed the primary characteristic of a Maddox.
It's a 9-inning shutout in less than 100 pitches. I would say complete game, but sometimes there are extras, and obviously your pitch count's going to go up. And so it's a really specific condition to unlock the Maddox.
Koyomi Matic brought up the Tequila Sunrise bootleg Astros uniforms. I'm like, buddy, we were just talking about those earlier tonight.
Where were you, man?
He said he was sleeping. I mean, I can't fault him on that.
I was about
0-2 on the way to Murabayashi. Inside with a fastball. Sumida's just pumping in heat right now.
Chat, do me a favor. If you've been here for pretty much all of our 2 hours going on 15-minute broadcast, go ahead and label yourselves in the chat for us so we can know how many people have been here the entire game, because we appreciate the company.
Aw, just off the hands of the fan.
That's why you bring a glove to the ballpark, folks.
Okay, the one time I didn't bring my glove to the ballpark and I was sitting in foul ball territory, I had a foul ball hit to me. I dropped it. To this day, that bugs me.
I could see why. You're not bitter at all.
Oh, quick check down to first base ump. No swing.
Also, Koyomi Matic, thanks so much for checking in. We're not trying to be mean to you. Thanks so much for checking out the broadcast.
We know you're one of our regulars.
Yep, definitely seen the name before. Rickety Cricket's been here the whole time. Philip raising hand and saying there the whole time. Castro has been here the whole time. I think Castro was the one who's like, Rockies, whoa.
Murabayashi popped up towards the third base side. Yamamura brings this one in.
East Bay
1, 2, 3
66.
innings. Sumida's still rolling, 7 strong.
East Bay 66 also been here from the beginning. He asked the very first question of our broadcast about Masahiro Tanaka. Obviously, for those of you who missed out, he is not at top form right now. He's still on the roster, but he has not pitched in a while because he's dealing with an injury. I'm sure it's great for Eagles fans to have him back in the clubhouse in the familiar uniforms. I'm hoping that he gets a chance, or had a chance maybe, to wear the 20th anniversary jersey himself.
Would love to get that. Score update from Escon Field, Hokkaido. Branmil Reyes, yes, that one. Solo shot in the bottom of the 6th inning. Fighters lead 2-1. It's currently in the bottom of the 7th. So Long Bomb's getting the job done for the for the Fighters over the Hawks. Meanwhile, we've had a near home run.
A near grand slam, actually. Let's not forget this.
That is true. Oh, actually, just quick update. Make that 3-1 Fighters over Hawks.
Gabe, have you been to Escon Field yet? The question in the chat.
No. I've only been to Sapporo once, and it was at Sapporo Dome.
Right.
It was Fighters versus Eagles. The Eagles clowned on them 13-3, if memory serves.
Tell you what, if I had been of my own free time when I was in Hokkaido, I would have loved to go to Sapporo, but didn't make it there. Also, thank you, Moromoto, for being there the entire broadcast. Mike Sylvanus in the chat. Apologies if I pronounced that wrong. Been here the whole game, just lurking in the chat. But thanks for reaching out and letting us know that you've been here the whole time. It means the world to us, especially to this rookie color commentator. Hopefully you're enjoying the different perspectives that I'm able to add here.
Tomohito Sakai coming into the game. 26, joined the Eagles in 2020 from the Chiba Lotte Marines. Actually pitched with Auckland Tuatara in the Australian Baseball League in 2018. I really do love the connections between the ABL and Japan. The Eagles in particular, Takahisa Hayakawa pitched amazingly for the Perth Heat in the ABL last offseason. And now Perth Heat players are starting to come to Japan to train with the Eagles.
Yeah, and the other thing too is, it's not necessarily a new thing, but the timing works out pretty well. And so we've seen an increase of the people going from NPB that direction, and hopefully that'll be a mutually beneficial thing. I mean, Australia and Japan always get pulled up in WBC play anyways.
The baseball ruse, that's right. And yeah, the Auckland Tuatara do not exist anymore. Brief foray into New Zealand baseball. Murabayashi diving stop up to his feet in time.
That is going to be on the top 10. Hello, future Gabe.
Whoa! Itsuki Murabayashi saying, "Hello, human highlight reel. I can do this too."
It wasn't to the human highlight reel, at least, but that was a heck of a stop. My goodness. Get that uniform dirty, son. Also, fun fact. As a baseball player who lived in Japan, I actually played a little bit of club baseball, which had been so long since I not played baseball that I wasn't any good anymore. But I always remember thinking that the dirt in Japan was so much darker, and it always stained my uniform more than the equivalent dirt used on American ball fields.
And it's most notable at places with all dirt infield, like Koshien Stadium, famous for the high school tournament. Yep. Or even here at Rakuten Mobile Park Miyagi, one of only, I think, 3 ballparks in Japan with real grass in the outfield. Even other outdoor ballparks will use turf. Junichiro Kishi, the left fielder. Man, we haven't seen any fielding highlights of him yet. Been quiet in the outfield, of course, with the middle infielders of Tonosaki and Genda. Not much going on there.
Well, I mean, it's also been like, if balls have been hit to the outfield in this game, it feels like most of them have found gloves.
Tatsumi's in particular.
But not spectacular, like, hits. Like, they're either well-placed hits or they're in gloves and it's not much more than a routine play. Yes, the catch by Nishikawa earlier, that was a nice play. But, he made it look pretty routine despite how it almost bounced out of his glove. So, like, no flashy stuff from the outfielders in this game thus far. Nothing like Murabayashi for sure.
He's not going to be able to get this one. That's rolling into center field. Junichiro Kishi, first hit of the game, 1-out single. Now's a good time to bring up Tomohito Sakai. Fastball, slider, forkball, curveball pitch mix. Fastball topping out at 150 kilometers an hour, so around 92, 94 in freedom units. Takayoshi Yamamura has 2 hits so far today, one of which was an RBI single, and got the score to where it is right now.
Definitely
20 for 75, so small sample size.
We definitely don't track Toot Bland's as a stat through the entire season, but he definitely earned one today.
Yep. Chopped up the middle. Murabayashi going to be making a play in time.
All right. It works. He got the runner up 90 feet. That's not nothing. I mean, he was off on contact, and I don't think Murabayashi got to the ball fast enough to.
Yeah, there was no chance for a double play there. Smart baseball play by Murabayashi.
Well, and it does make me wonder if the middle, because I couldn't really tell from our camera angle if the middle infielders adjusted to be double play depth or not. Like I don't know if that was just the ball was hit so they couldn't turn the double play, or they didn't even try to make double play alignment, which would have made it easier if the ball had been hit toward the bag. Obviously, that one was not in the right place anyway, but it would have been interesting if they could have turned that into a twin killing for sure.
Quick signals coming out of the dugout. Speaking of positioning. And yeah, unfortunately, we don't get to control the camera angles.
No, I'm not trying to control that. I just...
If you're watching on watchdingo.com or on Pacific League TV, you're seeing the same stream we are. "40-year-old Takumi Kuriyama finally getting a chance to feast on a right-handed pitcher in Tomohito Sakai.
Does make me wonder what his splits are.
Breaking ball in for a strike.
Because I'm thinking about something that could be checked via Delta Graphs. I'm wishing our analytics guy who has the Delta Graphs login, Mike, were here. Hope you're feeling better soon, Mike. We miss you, and we'll hope to see you on the next one.
Oh, man, if we try and get a 4-person virtual booth...
No. Chaotic. No.
That's going to make it a little too Twitch streamy, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you do a 4-person booth, get over it. Oh, good job, good job by closing speed on that one. Anyway,
good play by Nakashima there.
But you see what I mean? That basically looks routine. I mean, yeah, it wasn't like he stood still. He had to run to get to the spot, but like it was basically a routine play. Anyway, no, the only way you could do a 4-man booth is if one man specifically was only comments.
So desu ne.
Like somebody's just in the chat making comments at the chat, and sometimes will bring it up to the people who aren't necessarily looking at the chat all the time.
A chat moderator, if you will.
That'd be the only way a 4-man booth would make any sense. Otherwise, it'd just be too many people trying to cover each other's roles all the time.
Bottom of the 8th, Ota, Ogo, Nakashima coming up. And it looks like Sumida is going to be continuing.
Yeah, it sure looks that way. I mean, come on. He wasn't even at 80 pitches after the last inning. Like, this has been an incredibly efficient start for Sumida.
The only runs allowed on an Ogo single and a Franco sac fly. A very loud one, I would point out.
Yeah, I mean, the bases were loaded. We were both thinking, oh, gosh, if that ball goes, this place erupts. As it was, the place erupted. I'm also loving the zoom in on the party deck as they're practicing the dance here. Some people more accurately than others. Maybe I'm the one noticing that because I'm pretty good at when people tell me how to moving that way. Background
the party
theater
decks
will do that.
Are a unique thing in Japan. They will have sections where you can sit 4 or 6 or 12 people at a single section. Kind of like the luxury boxes in North America. I was about to say, it's probably
akin to like the suites that you can get. I don't know
priced
pricing
more
wise.
affordably.
I was about to say, I don't
more.
know pricing wise, and they're obviously not enclosed. That's the big difference, is that the party decks are literally just out in the stands rather than, hid behind a wall and getting a window onto the field. That's the difference that I noticed. But I mean, he's only at 82 pitches. Sorry, slightly over 80, obviously. But like, Sumida has been incredibly efficient. He
wants to will the Lions to end the losing streak. And Lions entered this game with dropping 7 in a row.
It'd be kismet, because if he could do for the 3rd time, ending a losing streak of 7 games.
And Lord knows to give Jimbo something good to talk about next
on
podcast.
The 3rd appearance he's made on the Midnight Matinee.
Okay, now easy with the numerology there, dude. It's 2:30 in the morning here on the East Coast. Hikaru Ota will chip this through the gap in the left field.
All right, don't forget to pick up the sunglasses. Don't let your cleats step on them and break them.
Crunch, my sport goggles. Shihiro Sumida looks a little fatigued.
I mean, he's probably having to get up and down so many times for this. I mean, he's already into the 8th inning. That's not nothing.
That's
true. Pitcher, no matter your pitch count.
He did get his first complete game shutout earlier this season, too, if memory serves.
He had 1 complete game shutout, and similarly to what we're talking about, that game came when the Lions were on a 7-game losing streak.
Aha! I see what you're going for here. Yuya Ogo 1 for 3 with an RBI. That came in the 5th inning. Last run the Eagles have scored. Runner on first is Hikaru Ota. No chance here for a pinch runner, or at least no plan on it.
Well, I mean, if it's the catcher, did they have their backup catcher on the bench? Probably, but you wouldn't want your catcher pinch running in this case.
Kengo Horiuchi would be the backup catcher if memory serves.
You would know better than I, but I do know that short of doing like a double switch, which is rare in Pacific League because they don't have the pitcher batting, of course, that, you know, you get a pinch runner and then you just replace defensively somebody else.
Manager and former Eagle player Toshiaki Imai looking on. This is his first season behind the bench of the Eagles. And so far, it's borne fruit.
Yeah, I mean,
In a playoff chase.
last year the Eagles weren't this good, so
They made a late push, if
Sure.
memory serves.
sure. And obviously the shine of their interleague
Yuya
overall
Ogo high and deep to
Good.
right field, and that one is gone to the Owen. Yuya Ogo, gone. Eagles lead 4-2.
Shout out to if there are any Orioles fans in the chat. I'm very forcibly reminded of what the Orioles announcers do every time Ryan O'Hearn hits a dinger. Anyway, that was a heck
Toshiaki Imai likes this post.
He absolutely should.
In
Well
honor
done,
of
Ogo.
Dishnet 34, indeed. Ball go far.
Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, as soon as he got wood on that, it looked dangerous. I didn't actually think it had the carry, but that may have been the wind that we were talking about earlier.
No kidding. Hey, one of our other usuals, Nat2V, joining the chat. Good to see you, friend. I told you, Yuya Ogo threatens for double digits again. Now get Norimoto up. Get Norimoto up in a hurry.
I was about to say, you get him up right now. There's a 2-run lead.
Sumida may just have to take the hard luck complete game here.
Yeah, I mean, given his pitch count, it's one thing. That said, I think now if they're going to get him out, it's probably going to be the end of this inning. Woof.
Big
He
swing and
wanted
miss over
all of
changeup by
that.
Nakashima.
He wanted all of that. He wanted to go
Yeah.
back to back.
There's actually a specific Japanese term for back-to-back home runs.
I wouldn't doubt it, but I'm not familiar enough with it yet. Sorry, I'll learn that for next
Abekudan.
time.
A translation of avec,
Oh,
which is
okay,
French for
fair enough.
with.
French, yeah.
And yeah, if you're sitting in the outfield bleachers, it's impossible to not get swept up in the infections. Hey, someone rocking a Padres cap in honor of Yuki Matsui.
I mean,
Love
he
it.
did come from the Eagles. That does make sense.
Exactly.
It's kind of like, so you guys didn't get to see this because one of the, I guess I'll call it tests, was a fake broadcast that we did of a fighter. And at the fight at Escon Field, there were a couple of people rocking Dodger caps, and it's like, oh, of course, Shohei Ohtani was a fighter, right? As was Yu Darvish at one point or other, but that's beside the point.
Hey, when I was over in Japan the first time in 2013, even at a Marines versus Eagles game, people were asking me about Munenori Kawasaki, who was a
'Cause you
former
were-
Hawk.
Were you repping Blue Jays at the time?
Of course I was repping
All
Blue
right,
Jays.
all right, fair enough. I don't know why I asked. That was an obvious question.
It's a baseball game. I wear the baseball things.
Well, I mean, if you had the baseball things of NBB, would you wear those instead?
Yeah, I wore a Yamamoto jersey trying to hope that Yoshinobu would get a start. I even wore a Buffalo's cap at Angel Stadium trying to get Masataka Yoshida's attention.
In the chat, we got a little bit
Fastball
of,
outside, ball one.
in the chat, we got a little bit of action. Baseball Lover 1984 has asked and gotten an answer for the question. The Marines are playing the Buffaloes later, but we thought it was going to be so much later. It starts in 90 minutes somehow. That's surreal to me.
Funny Gordo mentions about the pitcher's green baseball glove. I wanted to bring this up earlier in the game.
Oh.
The Eagles are running a uniform recycling project. If you bring a unwanted jersey to the ballpark, you'll receive 1,000 yen, or about $10 off, a new jersey, and a special sticker you can add to that jersey to indicate you recycled.
Now, the question is, does that include game-used equipment? And that's why he has the green glove? Because this is the Lions pitcher.
That's true.
And also worth noting, is it any jersey or is it just Eagles jerseys?
I believe it is just Eagles jerseys because they are turning
I mean,
those
that makes
into
sense.
other kinds of merch.
I mean, that does make sense.
Believe it or not, that is the first walk issued by Chihiro Sumida tonight.
And he is now at 96 pitches, and expectedly, here comes another mound visit. I mean, I don't want to say that I will certain things into existence, but I feel like I kind of called this one. If the inning gets rough, it's probably his last inning, and definitely looking at his pitch count now, if he comes back in the ninth, it's almost malpractice. Saying that this is Japan we're talking about, where at the summer Koshiens, you have kids that are like 16, 17 or 18 years old putting like 130 pitches on their arm in a single game. Yeah.
And it's not the first fashion crime that Chihiro Sumida has committed in terms of leather work. I caught this on his Japanese Wikipedia page. When he joined the Lions, he got a two-tone glove with a blue exterior and a dark blue catching surface. But the umpire told him that it violated the regulations regarding pitcher's gloves, and he couldn't use it in game. Asamura diving play by Yamamoto. That's foul, though.
I was about to say, I thought that was fair because he actually hit it.
Asamura turned around on that one.
Turned and burned on that pitch. My goodness. Also, for those of you astute listeners, yes, turned and burned as a reference to the joke I was making about Ryan O'Hearn earlier in the broadcast.
Ha. Man, that looks like a rough surface in the batter's box now.
Well, I mean, a bunch of right-handers have been stepping deep in their slots, and most of them towards the back end of the batter's box. It always kind of interests me, like relative to the plate where people stand, because like normally standing far back in the batter's box implies that you're worried about velocity, but Chihiro Sumida is not exactly like the hardest thrower the Lions have. That'd be Tatsuya Imai by a long shot. So I'm kind of wondering why he's all the way back, like almost at the back of that box, which of course the line's basically all but gone now.
That one's
again.
pulled. Yamamoto bobbled it though.
Again.
And that one, I think you got to call an error because both runners are safe.
It's a fielder's choice, totally an error. Like, I don't think that'll be a hit for Asamura anyway, because he should have got one out. He made the wrong choice after he biffed the first attempt on fielding it.
Hard shot.
Oh, he
just missed the transfer.
Oh. No, that's still an error, though. Whether it's the fielding or throwing, it's still an error on Yamamura, and that
may be
really
why
bad.
the camera is focusing on him.
No, the walk of shame back to his position. Asamura is coming out. Looks like they're going to pinch run for him.
Haruka Yamada, former Lion himself. I think he was acquired via the active player draft.
So he wasn't getting enough playing time for the Lions. Wow. Anyway.
I mean, keep in mind, the active player draft is relatively new to the league. It only got instituted 2 off seasons ago, and teams are still figuring out how it works. So far, the only thing that they know for certain is get someone from the Hawks.
Well, I mean, big surprise.
For example, Kotaro Otake went from the Hawks to the Tigers in 2022's instance, wins the Japan Series Championship in 2023. And then Shun Mizutani was selected by the Fighters in last offseason, and now he won Interleague MVP.
And the Hawks are notoriously, like, top-heavy. So, like, if they're a depth player that's not quite as good, but you might still be really good, but they're paying people very well to be on that team, so they get squeezed out. Makes sense. I mean, it's
if Akira Nakamura finds another club, I'm going to be sad because he's been such a good player.
That's fair. That is fair, and it could happen. But that's only if it's only if Yamakawa keeps performing commensurate to the contract. Saying that, it's one of those. where it's comparable to the Rule 5 draft in MLB. But of course, you're talking in this
Line
case,
hard and into right field. Drawn in outfield. Runners will hold. Bases full of birdies. Daichi Suzuki with his first hit of the game.
and
Michael Franco with another bases loaded opportunity. No.
I believe I was saying something about the they don't have a ton of time to make up the difference. Yeah, they are quickly making up for that lost time. But I'm pretty sure he's going to a reliever. That's manager Watanabe, is it not?
That looked like him.
I mean, Sumida, Warriors effort here, like incredible job. If this is his last pitch thrown, he should leave with his head held high, but that's a very dangerous book to leave open in a game like this. Already gave up the 2-run homer to Ogo as the bases loaded for Michael Franco, who is like 5 feet from a grand slam his last time up with the bases loaded. Yep, that's going to be it for Chihiro Sumida.
The Seibu faithful in baby blue and navy blue giving him cheers.
He deserves that
Absolutely.
ovation. And there's a message that is covering right over what they showed on the broadcast there. Oh, well. For those of you wondering about the next midnight matinee, we will be broadcasting again on August the 25th. And the game that's currently going on at Escon Field, there will be a rematch happening that night. I think it'll be in the PayPay Dome instead, unless they're listing it.
Nope, it is Escon Field, Hokkaido.
It's going to be Escon again. Okay, they're listing it the other way. That's what I wasn't sure of.
Speaking of that game, it's nearing its conclusion. Nippon Ham still leading 3-1 in the top of the ninth. It's Sugiura going for the close instead of Seigi Tanaka. 2 down. Getting close to the end of the game there. Toshihiro Sugiura, yes. The only other Pacific League game going on today is the Chiba Lotte Marines hosting the Oryx Buffaloes. That game's starting in 1 hour and 20 minutes.
A report in the chat from Enchilada that the game is over. Let me refresh my thing here. Oh, the game is over. Yeah. The Hawks could not pull anything together in the ninth. It is now final. It was the final score of 3-1. The Fighters take a win. Not that it really improves their season series against the Hawks very much. I mean, I think that's like their 3rd win all year over the Hawks, or maybe the 4th one now.
New pitcher into the game for the Lions, Wataru Matsumoto, former member of the rotation, as he had been since 2019. This season, pitching out of the bullpen. Breaking balls are splitter, cutter, curve, and slider. Michael Franco would love to get home run number 5 on the season here. Wataru Matsumoto picked up his first professional hold earlier this season. Bases loaded with 1 out. That would be Ryosuke Tatsumi at third. Possible bunt or sack bunt threat. Haruka Yamada at second. Daichi Suzuki at first.
If you're telling Franco to bunt, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking like an NPB manager.
That is as fair as that statement is. If you're telling Michael Franco to bunt.
Michael Franco is going to ground into a double play. 6-4-3. They don't get prettier than that.
Well, especially when you have Genda and Tonosaki turning it. But the damage is done nonetheless.
Take the lead. Goodness. Yuya Ogo, his 6th home run of the season, puts the Eagles up 4-2. Manager Imai probably calling for his closer. Former reliever, former Rookie of the Year, Takahiro Norimoto.
I believe you mean to say former starter. I think I read that he was converted to a closer role, and he settled in quite nicely.
Yes, you're correct.
And with that massive blast off the bat of Ogo, it feels titanic in what was to the point a low-scoring game. And I mean, they had plenty more chances. Sumida's day, finally, the book is closed on that. He allowed 4 runs, all of them earned, I believe. Yeah, all of them earned. The error happened after the home run happened. And through slightly under 100 pitches in 7 1/3 innings of work, it is going to be a fantastic start, but it's going to be a hard luck loss for a guy who played really well until his arm basically gave out on him. Hero of the game's got to be Ogo at this point. I mean, 3 of the 4 RBI. Home run that put the game, basically the dagger 3, to use an NBA term.
No kidding. So
And
Takahiro Norimoto enters the game. He is an all-star. It's a shame. I think he actually had like his first earned run of the season in the last month. Minuscule ERA as a closer. Fastball, slider, changeup, split, curve. His slider is his preferable breaking pitch. One of the few team members still around from the 2013 Japan Series Championship. He was a starter back then. He won Rookie of the Year. There you see 19 saves with a 2.45 ERA over 30 games.
He's also got 3 holds and a 1-0 record on top of all of that.
To convert from a guy who made 258 starts with 32 complete games, 12 shutouts, 114 wins, to now being a closer and second best in the Pacific League.
I was about to say, let's make sure we get that comment made, because he's literally only one back of the saves leader, Roberto Osuna of the Hawks. By the way, can we make a mention about Andres Machado, who has been amazing since taking the closer role for Oryx?
Okay, yeah, spoiler for the podcast. I had him as my +1.
And I guess if you want to talk about spoilers for the podcast, my +1 was Levon Moinello, who did take the loss in that Fighters-Hawks game. He goes to a record of 5-3. Ito picked up the win. Hiromi Ito picked up the win. He's now 7-3 on the season.
Nice. It's Ito who's on the back of my Fighters jersey. It's Tanaka who's on the back of mine. Tomasaki grounds out to Murabayashi. 1 away. Itsuki's had one heck of a game, too. Plenty busy between him and Kobukata.
Why, yes, Nick Springthorpe. Former Blue Jays closer Roberto Osuna is on the Hawks, although I can't remember if he was primarily a Blue Jays closer or not. Now that I'm thinking back about it, I don't remember.
Yeah, I think the Blue Jays was where he started to make his name, and then he got traded to the Astros. We're not going to talk about the context surrounding that. People know. Big swing and a miss by Matsubara. There's that breaking ball. Apparently, Norimoto has a very flexible wrist. Matsubara is going to foul this off to the first base side. 0-2.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Gabe, watching it live in person on a virtual booth for the first time. Save conditions are still the same. The tying run in the hole means that it's a save opportunity, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
This is a save chance for Norimoto. Home plate umpire says he went. Matsubara gets his second strikeout of the game. Norimoto his first of the appearance. It'll be down to Yuto Koga to extend this one. You hear the jet balloon starting to get loose again. All thanks to this man, Yuya Ogo.
I mean, all things considered, Chido Sumida did a heck of a job. I won't make the final commentary on, historical context of losing streaks and such until the result is finalized. But for what it's worth, with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth, we are very close.
Pinch hitter here for the Lions will be Shohei Suzuki, outfielder, trying to get something going here.
Unless I am mistaken, the second kanji of his given name Shohei is the same as Shohei Otani. I'm not sure about the first.
Interesting. Beautiful looking curveball there.
I believe the show that Shohei Otani uses is something more like Soda Suzuki's kanji for like wings. But maybe our Japanese production staff can set the record straight for me on that one.
Okay, the guy with the kanji for wings is playing on the Eagles. That's a little too on the nose. 1-2 on the way. Outside, ball 2. 153 on the radar gun.
You can tell he was wanting that pitch to be in the zone more than it was.
The manager of the Eagles, Imae, said he was looking for Norimoto to come out with fire in his arm.
Yeah, I think he's managed that.
153 kilometers per hour is 95 miles, by the way.
Also, BD makes a great comment. Shohei Suzuki? He must be an absolutely legendary player. What happens when you cross Otani with Ichiro, I guess?
That's flared over the head of Suzuki and fair into the left field corner. Nishikawa's on it. Suzuki will round first and make it to second. Pinch hit, 2-out double for Shohei Suzuki.
Yeah, he really is a legendary player. Took the given name of Otani and the family name of Suzuki, and here we are.
Gordo, those are not spoons, those are balloons.
At least that was the chosen comment.
At least, yeah.
I mean, come on. We're talking PLTV after dark here, so that's all I'll say.
That is true. Man, this game's gone by so quick, I didn't even get a chance to say that this broadcast is the exclusive copyrighted telecast of Pacific League TV and cannot be redistributed or retransmitted without the express written consent of Pacific League Marketing and the 6 Pacific League clubs. Phew, close. Sosuke Genda up at the plate.
Barely got it in.
2 hits so far today, including his 1,000th. Outside, ball 1.
And now he's getting up to that 15-ish pitch mark. You're starting to wonder how much that fire in the arm will hold up. Norimoto's already allowed loud contact. A hit here gets the Lions one step closer. If they keep this rally alive, anything goes. That is a great pitch, though.
Dotted the outside corner.
Gendo was frozen, didn't even try.
Well, he is an excellent judge of the strike zone. He wanted that breaking ball.
That
ball
was the
misses
gift
low.
to the human highlight reel from the umpire.
Oh, that caught the corner, yeah.
That was a gift to the human highlight reel by the umpire. I stand by what I said.
Runner at second is Shohei Suzuki pinch hitting. 2-2 on the way. Chopped up the middle. Kobukata on to first.
Hit
time! That's the ball game. The Eagles carry the day 4-2.
Thanks to some late inning magic for sure. Well, and something else to consider, that puts Norimoto into a tie now for the most saves league-wide. That's a huge thing.
The win goes to Tomohito Sakai. Vulturing the win from Masaru Fuji. Chihiro Sumida tagged with the loss. The save, his 20th, Takahiro Norimoto. We're going to stick around and keep the broadcast going until the hero interview takes place. Matt, would you do us the honor of doing a little bit of live translation as we go?
I will do the best I can to keep up with that.
Unfortunately for the Seibu Lions, that's now another 8-game losing streak.
Yep.
Yikes.
Tied for their longest one this season. Already, I think, unless I missed my mark, this is the second time they've gone to 8. But that is the season long. So they're going to look for against a new opponent starting Tuesday in the in the next series. They're going to try and reverse trend and see if they can keep the season long at 8 instead of stretching it to 9. I'm taking my vote for the hero is going to be Ogo. I just think that's too obvious.
Actually, there are games on Monday this week.
Oh,
Thursday,
there
I
are?
think, it's a holiday Monday in Japan.
Oh, gotcha.
So most teams shifted their schedule, so they ran Friday through Sunday, Monday through Wednesday. Looks like we got a little celebration with the fans. Little Hanabi for you.
May as well.
Keep in mind, the All-Star Games are coming up July 23rd and 24th. Escon Field Hokkaido hosts the first, and I think the second is Ventolin Dome Nagoya.
That sounds right, but I'll cross-reference that real quick.
It also means that the game or the day off this week is Thursday, the 18th.
The second All-Star game will be at Meiji Jingu this year.
One of the oldest ballparks and the newest.
Definitely seeing a lot of commenters in the chat. Thanks for the broadcast and thanks for the greeting, everybody. We really appreciate that.
It has been such a wonderful evening. We even got finished before 3 a.m. here.
Hey,
Matt, it's been a pleasure to have you.
1 a.m. It's been great to be here, Gabe. Thanks so much for having me. Hopefully,
and also a hearty arigato to our Japanese production team, manning the booth,
arigato gozaimasu.
babysitting us and making sure we don't say any naughty words. No words here.
Hey, we didn't get yelled at once for that, so I think we did okay.
Oh, Norimoto wanted that.
Well,
doing the Freddie Mercury pose.
Yeah. Something about we are the champions. I mean, hey, it's an appropriate reaction when you get to most saves in the league for now, and I don't think it'll stay that way for too terribly long. But consider also this win gets them back to 500 on the season, and that's something they can hang their hats on for right now. Going into an All-Star break closer to 500 than being where the Lions are at, yeah, that's great.
In fact, because the Fighters won as well, both teams will be at 500, and I think the Eagles will have the slight advantage on either percentage points or the fact that they have played one fewer game.
I was about to say, does that have anything to do with the tiebreaker head-to-head record between the two? I don't know for sure. Gordo, thank you for noticing that we do try to keep it a family-friendly stream. I know I made the joke of this is PLTV After Dark, but like, come on, midnight, it's going to be dark. Unless we're in Alaska, which I am not.
And furthermore, baseball is for everyone. We know that these games are going to be saved on the channel, and we want to make sure that they stay that way.
We do our part to make sure that's possible. Nick Springthorpe, oyasumi nasai to you as well. Have a good night. Thanks for checking in, and hopefully you sleep well wherever you may be. I think you said you were in the East, so yeah, it's almost 3 a.m. there. I know Gabe's suffering through that, but he suffers for his art.
I'm ganbaring my way through this, yes.
Ganbare, Gabe-san.
Man, I completely forgot to even do any sort of tweeting about it during the game. This was intense and involved and such fun. We're still waiting for the hero interview to be announced.
Yeah. As far as the game time itself, I think it took us roughly 2 hours and 45 minutes, which, not too bad. It did start out as a pitcher's duel for sure. Obviously, both the starters traded zeros for a while. I managed to jinx the no-hit bid by Chihiro Sumida, and Gabe managed to jinx the no-walk bid by Masaru Fuji. It was great.
And we willed Sosuke Genda's 1,000th career hit into being 2.
And we could not will another grand slam by Michael Franco. Oh, well.
We tried. And yes, it is a shorter wait for the next broadcast, August 25th, our final midnight matinee of the season. The Hokkaido Nipponham Fighters hosting the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks in possibly a postseason preview. Well, maybe
Philip-
not at SCon. All the
maybe.
games will be at Pepe Dome, but
Yeah, fair enough. Hey, Philip, yeah, we're super glad that you managed to catch this stream too. I don't remember if you missed the last one because I seem to remember you being there. I just think that we took a month off.
yeah, there was no midnight matinee in June, so you didn't miss a thing.
Gordo saying, I'd really enjoy this as a weekly late night Saturday stream. And while I am in total agreement with you, Gordo, we have to keep in mind the staffing and the availability of our commentators to do that. And we have a limited production team, so we give you the best we can, and we're hoping to expand upon that all the time. As I expected, the hero of the game announced as Yuya Ogo, who takes the stand now. I will try to translate this as it goes on. Wish me luck, folks.
Like I said, gun
放送
buddy.
席、そしてイーグルスファンの皆さん、お待たせしました。ヒーローインタビューです。今日のヒーローは8回決勝ツーランホームラン、小郷裕也選手です。
He's the hero because of his home run in the
ナイスバッティン
eighth.
グでした。同点の場面で迎えた8回の打席でした。どんな気持ちで臨みましたか。
はい、3連戦始まる前に、今井監督が3連勝するっていう記事を見たんで、なんとか今日勝って、遠征行きたいなと思ってました。はい。
So he was asked, what did it feel like to basically get the win streak up to get to sweep of the Lions here? And it's like, I think it's their first
しかも
three-game win streak of the year.
はい、本当、よくやられてたんで、好投手3人から、勝ちを取ることができてよかったと思います。
Thanking all of the pitchers who stood on the mound. There were Fuji
この3日
and,
間すべて満員の
well,
ランナーで
obviously,
送って出ました。
Rich Norimoto as well.
力になりましたか。
はい、もちろんです。
Were the fans helping
平
you?
日も
Yes, of
満員
course.
で、もちろん休日も満員で、はい、最高の気分で野球ができました。ありがとうございます。
The weekend and the house was full of people. It was so helpful. Thank you so much for cheering.
5回にもタイムリーヒットがありました。今日は3打点の活躍です。バッティング好調ですね。
はい、今いい感じなんで、もっともっと打てるように頑張ります。
So it's like, give some advice to the crowd. And what did they say to you for that? It's like, yeah, it
キープ
was
しています。明日もゲームがあります。
Good for a timely hit.
明日に向けて意気込みお願いします。
今日で借金がなくなったと思うんで、明日から遠征になりますけど、オールスター休みまでに、貯金を増やして帰っていきたいと思います。応援よろしくお願いします。
So he's saying
あ
he's
りがとうござい
looking
ました。
forward
今日のキーロー、小
to
郷選手でした。ヒーローインタビュ
upcoming
ー
All-Star events in the break, and he's got a couple more games to try really hard
こ
for,
こで
and he's
ヒ
looking
ー
forward
ロ
to
ー
it.
の小郷選手には楽天モバイルから楽天ポイント10万ポイントが贈られます。おめでとうございます。
He just received 100,000 points from Rakuten for whatever he can then use it for, and any of Rakuten's products, it looks like. Obviously,
楽
Rakuten
天モ
Mobile
バイルヒーローショーは
specifically.
楽天モバイルユーザーだけが楽天イーグルス公式スマホアプリから当日のヒーローインタビューの選手
Better
を
than
放送
nothing.
できます。
Yeah. Of course, they're
That is
talking
one
about
big phone, though.
well,
How are
it's,
you gonna fit
it's,
that in
it's
your
fine.
pocket?
No, it
Didn't
won't fit in the
though.
pocket. It's,
ヒーローの選手直筆のサイン
Oh, and the
入り
kids
ボー
get
ル
to
をプレ
hang
ゼ
out
ン
with
トい
him
たします。
too.
and he's going to get a picture with him. One sign says, "This is the best." It's a banner from 2020, and the other one is a personalized Yuya Ogo banner that has the 20th anniversary logo. And those kids just got a memory they will
それでは
probably
今日
never
のヒーロー
forget.
小郷裕也選手に今一度大きな拍手をお願いいたします。
And give him a big round of applause, everyone.
All right, that'll about do it for our broadcast tonight. Matt, thank you for providing translation services. On behalf of the Pacific League TV crew, Matt and myself, sweet dreams, everyone. We'll see you
Sleep
next
well.
time.
We'll see you next time. Have fun.